Come aboard and bring along all your hopes and dreams because it's the podcast for nerds. I changed it up today.
I'm like, what are you saying?
Hang on. I got so into what I was thinking about. Hang on.
What's the real intro?
All right. This is a podcast for nerds, the show where two dudes who met as kids discuss our journey with all things nerdy as well as life as we are in our 30s. And like I said, come aboard and bring along all your hopes and dreams because seemingly our hopes and dreams have been answered.
Mostly, I would say. I mean, honestly, I never hoped or dreamed for a live-action One Piece.
But if we're going to get it.
One Piece was one of those shows that I really just thought... there were some things I wanted to be in live action. One Piece was one that I always thought, I'm good.
No.
Like, I didn't even need it. The manga and the anime are so expansive.
Hang on. I'll rattle off 3 anime right off the bat that actually makes sense for a live-action setting.
Okay.
Claymore, Trigun, Cowboy Bebop. They did Cowboy Bebop, they just didn't do it right.
They proved that Cowboy Bebop cannot be done.
No, it could be. They just didn't do it right.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch it.
If this can be done.
This is the same studio, man.
That's what floors
Cowboy
me.
Bebop had to fail for this to walk, to run. Like,
I'll even contest Death Note. That's good for
Death
live
Note
action.
should work perfect.
It should work great.
But we can't sit here and talk about that because we've got a lot to cover today, guys. We're skipping right over everything Gear 5 that happened. We just missed that. We uploaded our initial reaction if you want to go check that out. But we can always talk about that in the future.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Yeah, because today is all about the One Piece Netflix live action.
Woohoo!
You just finished it last night?
Just finished it last night. That's was a little late today. Overslept because I was up late.
I'm just glad you finished it.
Yes.
It's all good. I got a bunch of stuff done this morning, so it's not like I was sitting around just waiting. I might have been. You may have got more text from me if that was the case.
Yeah.
Did you watch it in English or Japanese?
Watch the English, but I'm gonna rewatch it again I'm probably gonna watch it a total of 3 times.
3.
Yeah, because I want to. 3.5. Because my wife was able to watch the first half of the show.
Mm-hmm.
But then the second half essentially is all like
new for her.
Yeah,
she's reading the manga.
She's in the
now.
middle. My wife is reading the manga, and she's in the middle of the Baratier arc. She's got about 15-ish chapters left.
A Baratier.
Yeah, and I told her you don't have to read through Arlong Park, and then I saw the end of this, and I was like, Logtown's only 5 chapters. Just go ahead and read it.
Yeah. It's
I was like, just go ahead and read to chapter 100.
So you were saying you'll rewatch the end with her,
I'm gonna watch the second half once she catches up.
All right.
And then I'm gonna rewatch it in Japanese because I want to hear how that sounds.
So I watched it in English, and I've watched some of it in Japanese already.
Okay.
I'm so conflicted when it comes to the voices. There are voices I like. Before we get into talking about episodes and things that actually happened, I guess that's the stuff we should start with, is like, what do you think of the actors? What do you think of the voices? Are there any standouts for you? Are there any that didn't quite live up to your expectation?
I, for the most part, thought every actor was nailed.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of any off the top of my head. Then I'm like, oh, really? This person? Maybe Bellamere. I was kind of like, because I could.
I agree. When I first saw her, I thought she was like 45, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I had to look up her age, and it said 30, and I'm like, but then later when they showed her again, I guess it was just because she was like, when they first showed her, she was like in war and stuff was happening. When they showed her later, I'm like, okay, she could be 30.
My issue is like I could totally tell her hair was a wig.
Yeah,
Bellamere has the coolest hairstyle of any woman in all of One Piece. And I just think they botched it.
They
like
totally
she has
dropped the ball.
Such a really awesome hairstyle.
They super dropped the ball on the hair.
So that's maybe she was acted well.
Mm-hmm.
She was acted well, and I think did well, but it just, again, okay, hang on. We're going to talk about aesthetics real quick. I'm going to put this to rest once and for all.
Okay.
I'm defending myself one more time on this eyebrow and nose thing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I understand. When I rant about this, I'm not saying it's ruining the story for me. What I rant about is how everybody in the comments on that got on my case saying how it wouldn't look realistic. When Homeboy walked in with whiskers coming out his lips, all sense of realism is out, and that argument's invalid to me. So,
but he's not a character we're gonna have to see for seasons and seasons.
I'm just
and seasons.
saying that argument is not. You can't use the "it's not realistic" argument on that for me at all. They could have, if they can give Homeboy whiskers and make that look all right, then they could have done that and made it look all right. That's the only reason I'm arguing. I'm not saying it ruined the story. I'm arguing that they could have made it work, but. And I don't like how everybody got on my case like it would be unrealistic, dude. Really, all these things that popped up in this, and that's what would be unrealistic is an eyebrow and a long nose.
I'll meet you halfway that they could maybe do the eyebrow, but I would not want them to do the nose. No, I really wouldn't.
But you get where I'm coming from, right?
They could do it, but I don't do it. I don't want to look at.
Now that I've seen it, I'm glad they didn't do it.
Yeah, Usopp's great.
But what I'm arguing is it could have looked realistic and looked good.
I want to put out a hot take, and I don't know if this is a hot take or not, because I've literally heard my opinion about it, and I've heard the complete other opinion, which I'm guessing you have the complete other opinion. I don't know, but I think Luffy's actor is a bad actor. It's either he's a bad actor or Luffy's just really hard to play, because there's a lot of times when he says things that I'm like, even Drew wrote me as well. He's like, this guy's a bad actor. Izai was talking to her while she was watching it. She's like, he can't act. And she was all on his team. Like, she really liked him before it came out. Like, it wasn't like just trying to attack him. Like, there were just multiple lines he delivered where I didn't feel it. I think he looks like Luffy. I think he's got the energy of Luffy, and I think he's still a good pick. I'm not saying they should have done somebody else. I just feel like it's either him not being a good actor or it's him trying to match Luffy's energy that's just hard to match.
That's what it is. I think it has nothing to do with him, because there's times in that when I'm like, he's a charming young man.
Yeah.
He does well, and I think part of it is it's the line deliveries. It's the lines he's having to do on top of matching Luffy's energy. Like, honestly, skip ahead. I think he nailed a certain scene that I think that we'll talk about in a bit towards the end of the show. I think he nailed it.
I'll just say the one line that he constantly delivers that I cannot stand it, and when I watched it in Japanese, I'm like, there it is. That's it.
I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
Yeah, I'm gonna be king. He says, I'm gonna be king of the pirates, and it's like, where's the energy? Luffy's like, he tells them he like is confident. I know he's being confident, but he's being kind of snide.
Luffy also has a tendency to scream it at people as he's fighting them. He doesn't say it typically in a joyful way. It's usually like, go back to when he did Red Rock in Wano. By the way, this is all going to be spoilers.
Everything.
This is all spoilers.
Open.
This is a whole. If you don't want spoilers, get out of here.
The only thing that probably won't get spoiled is like new stuff in the manga.
Yeah, I think I'm 1 or 2 chapters behind.
I just read the new one last night, but we're not here to talk about that. Yeah.
I know I'm at least 1 episode behind on One Piece. I skipped that recap episode.
The new episode that came out yesterday. Oh, it's amazing.
I can't stand
amazing. No, don't worry. Just skip the recap, but wow.
Okay.
Yeah. I see why they put the recap. They needed extra time to animate
All
that.
right, fine.
Right. Anyway. Sorry.
Where was I?
You were talking about Red Rock.
So when he comes out and then he said, I think if he were to do it then, I think he can do dramatic really well.
Yeah.
I think the dramatic scenes were great, but I think he's having a hard time matching Luffy's like boyish charm, for lack of a better term.
I mean, I know he's a different Luffy, and I was sold on him when I watched an interview before the show came out.
The one you sent me?
Maybe?
The one where Oda said he was born to be Luffy?
Oh, I did. No, it wasn't that one. It was a different one, though I did like that interview a lot. It was one where he was just talking about his role and talking about how he really respects the voice actress in Japan who plays Luffy, and but he doesn't want to be her. Like, he's going for his own Luffy. It's a different Luffy, and he accepted that. He's not trying to, and so that made me accept it. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
that's fine. But I just don't like the way he delivers, I'm going to be king of the pirates. I don't feel the passion behind it. Like, that gives me chills sometimes in the anime.
Think about it like this. Where he's at in the beginning, at this point, it is just words to him.
For sure.
So you got to think about maybe I'm going to be king, of course. I'm going to be king of the pirates. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Sure, why not?
But I guess my only argument is when I saw it in Japanese. Obviously, it's Luffy's anime voice actor,
been doing
but
it for 20 years, though.
Yeah, she nailed it. As soon as he said it the first time in the live action Japanese,
Nakoni or whatever it is.
something, yeah, I was like, whoa. I'm like,
sure
that's
I botched
it.
that.
You definitely did.
I
don't know.
I know he says Nek Oni. I know Oni's part of it.
Oreno Kaizoku.
Kaizoku, that's what it is.
Yeah, Kaizoku's pirate.
Kaizoku.
Anyway, it's okay. The comments are gonna be all over us, but
Yeah, don't get mad at me. I'm trying. I'm learning.
other than that, I guess we could talk about it as we go through. I'm gonna go to my notes. I have a very extensive list of notes.
We can go through casting and what we like as we go down it. That's what I figured we'd do.
It's not going to cover, my notes aren't going to cover every last thing, guys, because there's a lot. We could be here for like 5 hours talking about everything. But it's going to cover
if we really wanted to, we could just break down every episode. But
yeah, easily. If these would have come out weekly, I might have been down to do that.
yeah, that would have been fun.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. But so I'm just going to open the notes, and these are just the things that I wrote down as I was watching that I thought were important. So since we're already talking about casting, I actually wrote down, at the very top, I wrote down my perfect cast.
Okay.
The ones that I thought they nailed it with the look.
All right.
Doesn't necessarily mean like maybe the direction they were given wasn't exactly the same, but I thought they looked perfect for me. Usopp. I know he doesn't have the nose, but...
No, I thought I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, dang. He kind of nailed it.
He really nailed. Like, he looks like Usopp to me. If I was gonna think of Usopp as a real guy, that's him. Buggy, I think, was nailed.
Yes, dude.
Yeah,
I
well,
loved Buggy.
we could talk more about him in a minute. I really love Helmeppo and Kobe.
Yes, dude.
Yeah,
I loved Helmeppo and Kobe.
Yeah.
Dude, when Helmeppo came out with that haircut.
yeah, dude.
Ah,
I love that he didn't just have it,
Yes.
but Zoro gave it to him. I don't remember if that happens in the
no,
manga.
No, he has that hair always.
That's what I thought. Yeah. And I love that they showed his butt because he
Yes.
doesn't have the butt chin, so they showed his butt.
Oh my god!
I
didn't
feel
even
like
think
that was on
about that.
purpose.
That's
Yeah.
gotta be.
The other one I wrote down is Nezumi, the guy with the whiskers. I
yeah.
thought he looked perfect. He's
Well-
not a big character, but
He's. I looked him up, and the other character's a little bit taller.
oh really?
But they made him, I think, shorter.
He was a little short.
to make him look kind of more mousy.
Yeah, but I thought he looked great.
Yeah,
though.
no, I was like, that's why I was like, he's got whiskers.
The last one
Don't
I
talk
wrote
to
down.
me about that realism.
The last one I wrote down, you might not agree with. I've seen a lot of hot takes on this one, but I personally thought Garp was well cast.
I
know
liked him.
He's not as big, but Garp in that manga is like ridiculous looking.
Yeah.
Like a human can't look like that.
Him having a Scottish accent threw me off. I didn't know he was Scottish.
Yeah,
So that threw me off, or whatever. I don't want to assume it's Scottish, but
I thought it was Scottish.
well, it could be Welsh.
I've heard a lot of people saying Scottish, so
Okay,
you're not
yeah,
the
he's
only one
Scottish.
assuming for sure. I've got some problems with Garp's character in this, but I thought his casting was good.
Yeah, he did great.
The next thing I wrote down is love the title screens.
Yeah.
Did you notice that in
Yes,
every episode?
single one.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they were like with the manga.
Yeah.
They were all references. to
Yeah,
the
they
manga.
had Nami sticking out her tongue.
Yeah, Usopp had his nose.
Yep, it was a little bitty button, but it was there.
Sanji had his eyebrow.
I didn't see Sanji's.
It was all there, man. It was all there. Yeah.
Missed his.
Speaking of the title screens, I don't think I wrote this down, but the wanted posters.
I loved that.
Yeah.
I love that they'd show them and then the people would interact with them.
Yeah, super cool.
I liked that. It was a good creative choice.
That was one of the things where I'm like, this is better than the anime.
And that's a good way to introduce the character, let you know this is who this person is and this is what you have to deal with that character.
Yeah, the way they do it in the anime and that Oda does it in the manga, they just like write it down there, like at the bottom to show who it is.
Yeah, and then the narrative would be like, this person worth 20 million berry.
Yeah, but it was cool the way they did it. I just wrote, I love how piratey everything is.
Dude, yes, everything. Everything had like a very swashbuckling feel.
Like the anime and manga don't always feel like a pirate show sometimes. Like if you just jumped in the middle of an arc, you wouldn't realize it's about pirates maybe.
Yeah.
Until they just say pirates all the time. But everything looked Pirates of the Caribbean when it started up, especially.
That definitely had a big influence on a lot of this.
You
could
think
tell.
so?
Yeah.
And I don't have anything written. Oh no, I do. I really enjoyed the music. What do you think about the music?
The music, I thought it worked great. I could have we got one great reference that made me tear up.
Yeah, we can talk about that now.
Okay, so Unfortunately, One Piece does not have an intro song like I was hoping. I was hoping for like, because with Cowboy Bebop, they straight up did a live action version.
Yeah.
And I was hoping maybe we'd get like a live action version of of the We Are.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get that. However, when they do get the Mary, an orchestral version of We Are starts playing, and it's just, I literally like, my jaw dropped, my eyes got wide. I turned and looked to my wife because she was able to watch that part with me, and I was just like,
does she know? Because she's reading the manga.
I played her the song.
Okay, so she knew.
She knows and she knows it's a big deal.
That's cool. Yeah, that was the one part where I jumped out of my chair. I was sitting right over there watching. I jumped up and was like holding my head, like, no way. Like,
Yes.
I couldn't believe it was in there.
I was sitting there, I started singing along. I was like, we are.
I was crying, bro. I had tears.
Dude, I was tearing up.
Yeah.
It was great. I was like, yes, the show has won me.
I did it at the end too because they play "We Are" again.
They did, yes.
I was thinking they might though. At that point, they played it once. I'm like, okay, we're gonna get it again.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way they don't. And unfortunately, the only other song I would have liked is the dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun.
What's that called? Over something. Over. I can't remember. It's Zoro's theme.
Oh,
right?
that's for Zoro?
No. I can't remember. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's called Over Something.
It's like anytime crap is about to go down, that's the song that's about to play.
That one slaps, bro.
Oh, yeah.
They did play the other song that I never expected I would want, but they did it. I don't know if you noticed it or not because it's just in the background.
What was it?
Episode 1, they played Bink Sake.
I did hear that. You're right. You're right. I was sitting there. They never got the tune that you never hear.
No, they did.
Did they? I only heard the doon.
Nah, they did. You should listen to it. I listened to it like 3 times. Because I was mentioning it to Izai. I'm like, did you hear Bing Sake? And she's like, it's not in there. And I'm like, okay, I got to go back and play it again. And I listened to it and filmed it and sent it to her.
Oh yeah, I heard it.
The first couple notes, I'm like, no way.
Yes.
I was just hyped to hear that they are going to use music from the anime. Like, that's cool.
First off, before we go any further, there's no way this doesn't get a season 2.
I agree. I think it's definitely getting a season 2.
It's gotta.
I'm a little worried with the strikes and everything happening now.
It's gonna be a minute.
Yeah.
But like, it's not coming next year.
Yeah. I really think we're getting a season 2 as well.
Yeah. I take their time on it. Take their time. Give me 10 episodes next season. They could have gotten 2 more episodes out, I think, out of this.
I agree. That's my biggest issue. Like, if we're going to go ahead and talk about something bad really quick.
Okay.
I think pacing is an issue here the other way.
We knew that was going to be an issue going in, though. So that's why I kind of cleared my mind of that.
I mean, I think they did their best with it, but it does... I think the pacing causes some issues that I really want to get into later.
Yeah.
That I actually think dramatically affect things in a negative way. Mm-hmm. It's just so fascinating that the only One Piece material that seems to have the proper pacing is the manga. Anime's slow as F. Mm-hmm. The live action is too fast. It's like, we got to find I'd say we got to find a middle point, but the manga's the middle point.
Yeah, but nobody wants to read the manga.
Well, a lot of people do.
A lot of people are now because they're just like, what is it? Because my wife, she's already 50 some odd chapters in, and she's only been reading a couple weeks.
You can blow through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone who tells me One Piece is too long, I'm like, okay, the manga. That's your answer.
I started. Now, granted, it depends on how fast you read.
For sure.
How often you have to read. But last year, with how I read and stuff, I started reading at Punk Hazard, and I caught all the way up in probably about 4 months it took me.
Yeah, I believe it. For sure.
Maybe 5. But it was... And I was powering. I would go a few weeks at a time without reading here and there, but...
And then you can go back and watch the episodes that you really liked in the manga, or just watch them on YouTube.
Watching the final battle in where they're fighting Doflamingo, where I can't remember where that's at.
Oh, the Dressrosa.
Yeah, when the cage is closing in on him.
Yeah.
Oh.
They ruined that in the anime, though. Because they ruined the final punch because they make Luffy's punch hold for a long time, like a blast battle type of thing, where it's really just supposed to be like boom and like decimate him. But they fix it in one pace. Anyway, we got to keep going. I did write down again about Kobe. I love that. Not just do I love Kobe's character.
I notice he's taller than Luffy.
Is he?
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean,
at least at the end.
Oh, maybe he's already growing. I mean, he has the biggest glow up of anybody.
That's true.
You have read most of the new manga, right? I'm not going to spoil anything.
I'm only two chapters behind.
So I'll say with the stuff that's been happening in the manga recently, I definitely loved seeing more Kobe and Garp together and doing things.
I think that's what they're going for.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if Oda was kind of like, hey, put a little more of them in. Because this is from a cover story.
Yeah.
All the Kobe and Helmeppo stuff is canon.
Yeah.
To a point. Up until Garp starts running in and like...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem I had. I didn't like... Luffy meeting Garp this early in the journey and
it's
announcing
supposed to happen at Water 7, isn't it? Or after Enies Lobby.
Yeah, after Enies Lobby.
Yeah, see, that's what I was telling Ari. I was like, this is way too early. I said this hasn't happened, because I asked her. I was like, this hasn't happened, right, in the manga? And she's like, I don't think so.
She probably has no idea who the F Garp is.
Oh, she knows. I've told her about Garp.
Well, I mean, if you wouldn't have told her, she would have been like, who is this dude?
Yeah.
Personally, I think it would have still changed things, but for me, it would have been better if instead of Garp chasing them everywhere, it was Smoker.
Yes. But that would have been too early.
It would have still been too early, but it's not as early as this is.
I guess you're right. It would have been better.
At least he is an East Blue villain.
That's true.
Villain. He's a villain when we meet him.
Yeah.
But the next thing I wrote down is I liked Shanks.
Dude, Shanks was great.
You liked him?
Yeah.
I've heard mixed opinions on him.
Again, a lot of people had accents that threw me off.
There's one accent, I wrote it down later, but we can talk about it now, that I thought was weird, was Nojiko.
Yeah, like that really threw me off.
I'm like, why did Nojiko and Nami grow up together on the same island, then get rescued by the same woman, continue to grow up, but Nojiko's the only person anywhere near us who has this accent?
Now, Nojiko and Nami aren't biologically related. We can assume that Nojiko's biological mom probably.
But
her parents.
As far as we've been told, they were from the same island even before. Like,
oh yeah, I guess you're right. So logically, Nami should also have an accent.
Yeah, it just seemed weird.
They did a lot of that. Where like, and Luffy grew up with Garp. And did you notice Kid Luffy didn't have an accent?
Yeah,
he had an American accent.
Yeah,
but then he grew up to have a very heavy Spanish accent. That's fine, but it's just like it doesn't just happen.
Yeah, I feel like the people casting and directing were just like, whatever, that doesn't matter. But it kind of is weird.
Garp being Scottish, that really threw me off.
I got used to it, and I liked it.
Yeah, I got used to it, but I mean, I was just like,
yeah, for sure. I really loved Mr. Seven being in the show.
It was Mr. Seven in the anime. I can't remember.
So what happened in the manga and anime? He's shown a little bit. So first of all, he's not in the manga and anime in the way the other ones are. I can't remember who says it. I think it's Mr. One says it, mentioning Mr. Seven or Baroque Works. It's when Zoro's fighting him, I'm pretty sure. Basically, they say that Zoro says, or somebody says that Mr. Seven went to recruit Zoro to Baroque Works. This is canon. And that Zoro killed him because they wouldn't make him the boss. Zoro said he wanted to be the boss, and they said no. So he killed Mr. Seven. And they put it in the freaking live action.
See, I wondered or not, because I was like, this, I didn't know if it was canon or not, but I was like, this gives more context as to why he's there.
Yeah.
And he's trying to collect a bounty.
Yeah.
You know, and then I liked seeing Luffy witness his fighting skills, because that gives Luffy, to me, more cause to be like, I like this guy.
Well, I get that, but at the same time, it did still make sense in the manga because he was so known. A lot of people were talking about Zoro.
Yeah.
But you're right, to actually see him.
Yeah, I think the enemy's just like, oh, he sounds cool. Yeah, he'll join my crew. I'll take that, everybody's word. But here he saw it with his own eyes. He's like, oh, and everybody's talking about him.
So, yeah, that's something we can go straight to then, is like the bar fight.
We skipped Alvida.
Oh, Alvida. Okay, yeah.
I thought she was very, very, I don't want to say perfect cast, but I thought she looked great.
I think she's perfectly cast for a normal looking person to look. Well, she looked good enough for me. I liked her. I liked this version.
My wife, she went, but she's pretty. And I was like, well,
she hasn't gotten to where Alvida will have to be.
See, this is where it gets problematic with Alvida.
Yeah.
because her character has a dramatic change.
It shouldn't be the same character, but
And I don't know how, see, Netflix being as woke as they are, quote unquote. Woke.
I'm sorry, they got to change the actor. It's such a big. It's
But
not even close, man.
I know, but you know how up in arms people are gonna, because it's because of how body positivity everybody is now.
But it's not just that. It's not even about being body positive. It's her fruit literally makes her thin.
Yep.
So somebody's got to be thin to match the canon of the fruit.
You know what? I would not be shocked if they just make her just not change at all.
Just change her fruit, or
No,
make
just-
that fruit doesn't do that.
That fruit does. I guarantee you, they're probably just gonna omit that.
I mean, we do see Buggy meet her, right at the end. Yeah. So they are gonna bring her back. They're not just gonna omit her. They could have just
Yeah.
omitted her.
Yeah, but I do not see Netflix being as inclusive as they try to be and all that. I don't see them being like, all right, the actress who played Alvida, we hinted that she's going to be in the next season, and then, by the way, we're going to change her with a younger, thin actress.
She doesn't have to be younger, just thinner.
A thin actress.
Though I will admit,
and-
Alvida looked like. I felt like she looked late 40s when we met her, and then when we meet her again, she's like 23.
Yeah.
So I
But
mean,
you get what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
I agree. I think they would have, if they wanted to do it right, I think they're going to probably just omit that entirely.
You're
And
probably
the way that
right.
I think they're going to do it is they'll probably do the opposite. Whereas in the original, Alvida always thought she was beautiful.
right.
In this one, she's going to be delusioned to be like, oh, I look so different, when she looks no different at all. And
I
that'll
guess
be
it
the
could be a
joke.
funny joke.
I think that'll be the joke. That's just where I see it going. Maybe they'll get a new actress, but I don't see them teasing Alvida coming back, that actress, and then completely getting.
Well, I
a
mean, the
whole new
thing about the
actress.
actress they got is I feel like she's more in the middle. Like, she's not. Alvida in the manga was
she's
huge. This actress could still, like, yeah, she's just a normal looking person. So,
Yeah, I just don't see. Just the way people are with body positivity.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening. But I do think she cast well, and I'm fine if they don't do that.
I'm
think
fine with it. It's
I
not a
think they
big
did it
deal at
great.
all. Yeah.
No, I think she did great. This is just, if they want to do it right, they would have to change the actress, and I just don't see them doing that.
But they clearly don't care about doing it right. I
No.
mean, as we get further in,
Oh,
there's
God.
so many changes that
It's
will.
I think there's a good balance. We'll keep going.
So the bar fight, I actually loved the fighting, because the sword fighting I think is the best fighting in the whole show. But I mean, to be fair, Hollywood's had a long time to perfect sword fighting. Gum powers is expensive and not something they've had much time to. But that not that it looks bad. I think it looked okay.
Never been a character that only kicks.
It's true, which I thought looked okay too when we get to
Thought it did
Sanji.
well. Oh my god! When we get to the end, I was hyped for a minute.
For Sanji's fight in Arlong Park.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
pretty cool.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, we'll get to that. The only thing I had a problem with in the bar scene was I actually thought it was weird that Zoro fought Helmeppo. I know how Helmeppo knocked the food out of her hand accidentally, but he did step on it on purpose, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, and he like stomps on it out of anger, not out of like he doesn't step on it just to be a jerk. He steps on it because he's angry.
Yeah, I felt like Zoro escalated that whole situation. It made him seem like, especially rewatching it again and really looking at it, I'm like, Zoro kind of seems like a douche in this situation. Like, why does Luffy want him on the crew? Other than that, he's a good fighter.
Yeah.
And what was it? Oh, I didn't love the delivery of when he eats it and he's like, delicious.
Delicious.
It's like, okay. It just felt a little cheesy. It felt a little weird.
There's a few parts like that where I was just like,
Yeah.
There's a handful of cringy moments. Not many, but
Let's skip ahead here. I wrote Nami feels too intense, but I changed my mind on that later. That's early stuff.
I went back and forth with Nami.
I really feel like by the end, the reason Nami, because I also kind of went back and forth, I really feel like the reason that I even felt I needed to write she felt intense is because this is a pre Arlong Park Nami. She's in a bad place. And I really felt by the end, once Arlong's defeated and we're getting back on the ship, she felt like Nami to me by that point.
I can agree. By the end, it felt more real. She felt like she was starting to have fun, even though by the end of in the manga, she's way more about it. But
everyone's toned down. Every single character is toned down.
you got to take what you can.
Yeah, like I think season 2 is going to be the real test for Nami, because this is a weird Nami. This is pre everything happening, and she doesn't trust anybody. And
the next few arcs, they don't focus on any individual thing. See, the next big arc is Drum Island, right? The next big one. Because I was looking it up.
I guess
they got
so,
Reverse
yeah.
Mountain, then they got the stuff with Laboon. Oh, and then I guess they have Jaya.
No. You're thinking Whiskey Peak.
Whiskey Peak, then Jaya.
No. Jaya's before Skypiea.
You're right.
Yes.
I was looking them up last night.
Yeah. I mean, it depends what they want to do with Logtown. They could really stretch Logtown out into something cool. I love Logtown.
I agree, but I don't see them spending more than one episode with it.
I think one episode's good.
It's a 5-chapter arc.
But I love Smoker, so if you want to give me more time with Smoker.
Oh, please.
Speaking of Smoker, we totally skipped over this.
You see him.
In the beginning?
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't notice it the first time.
Same.
When I watched it again, I'm like, oh, I saw him in the back at first. I'm like, wait, no, that's Smoker. And then later they show his full face. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't notice it.
You see Shanks, Mihawk, and Smoker.
And
which fits in the canon.
And Dragon.
I didn't see Dragon.
Dragon's in the very first shot. He's just in his green robe.
Oh, I'll have to look back at that.
It's the very first shot when they're showing the execution podium.
So he's in the very, very first shot.
The very first shot of, like, that's not the wide shot of, like, coming into the base and everything.
That's hype, dude.
Yeah.
That's hype.
So we got, and then Buggy as well. You can see him on the side a little bit. Kid
Okay.
Buggy.
Which, again, all fits into canon because they were all there.
And maybe Crocodile. Female Crocodile. A lot of people think this woman is Crocodile.
Isn't there a theory, though, that Crocodile is a woman?
I had to rewatch the theory last night because I remember it being pretty good. I'll quickly go through the theory. There's 2 parts of the theory, and the second part I absolutely hate. I think is stupid.
And the theory that Crocodile is Luffy's mother.
That's the part that I hate.
Yes.
That's the part that's stupid because they just throw it on there for no reason. Like, there's no evidence for that.
Okay, they're just...
But the evidence for Crocodile being a woman originally is not... it holds water because it's Eva. You probably don't remember because it's been so long.
Oh, yeah, because she can change the sex.
Can change anybody's gender. And Eva says that they have a secret about Crocodile. And that's the only reason Crocodile joins them originally to go to the war to help Luffy get out of Impel Down and all that is because Eva's holding the secret.
So is this a possible subtle confirmation of this?
I think if nothing else, it's just like a nod to the theory, even if it's not real.
Oda had to be in on that.
Oda might be having fun with the theory, joking around with it. But the thing that gives it
That
weight,
or they're just going to gender swap.
here's the thing that
Crocodile.
gives it weight, though. When you look at the theory, we've seen Kid Crocodile always looks very gender neutral. It doesn't actually lean toward being like clearly a dude. It's very in the middle. And when we see Crocodile at Logtown for the execution, we only see the back of the head. We don't see
Is it like slick back purple hair or something?
yeah, in the anime. In the
No, I
anime.
mean, oh, I see.
In the live action, it's clearly on the face.
But does she still have...
Yeah, the hair, you'll have to see it.
Okay.
They clearly show this character, like this person. It's not just in the background. They focused on their face for a minute.
Okay.
I'm not convinced, but maybe.
That'd be interesting. That would be neat if that's the way Oda is like, see?
Yeah. We're only 30 minutes in, man, and we're on episode 1. This isn't good.
Oh, no.
I find it actually scary. I think the show's way more scary than the anime is.
I can agree, yeah.
I wrote... There's some things I'm skipping.
Okay, go ahead.
What do you think about the laughs being taken out? They totally took out the unique laughs.
I don't know. Arlong had his laughs.
Most everyone's is gone though. Buggy's is gone. Luffy's is gone.
What does Luffy? Luffy says she he he he, right?
Yeah, chi he he he, something like that.
They kept Arlong's. I noticed that because he says sha ha 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 a couple times.
I guess I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I noticed because it's just subtle. There's a couple of where he'll like, and when he starts to laugh, he'll go sha.
Yeah. I guess because we're spending so much time, I'm gonna skip over some of the smaller stuff from here on out that I have written down. Let's talk about Buggy. We mentioned him a little. Let's just go straight into episode 2.
Loved him.
What do you think of like any takeaways on him? Like, what do you think of him being throughout the whole show instead of just his arc?
They don't have the only thing they don't capture is Buggy's also. He's very annoyed all the time.
Yeah.
Buggy is always like annoyed at everything because nothing is ever going his way. So he's always just kind of like,
Yeah,
I don't think they nailed that quite right.
for sure.
Everything else, though, his cocky attitude currently, perfect for where they're at, because he is still a big deal in the East Blue.
Yeah.
I think the clown look, I could have dealt with, I don't know. I think something different could have been done with his lips, but they were going for more of a Joker feel there, and I like that.
I liked it, and his nose was his nose.
Yes, that made me happy.
That part makes sense, though. It's red. I don't know. For me, it makes sense.
It makes sense, but you can't use the realism argument against me anymore.
But
no one
Buggy
can
never
use it.
looked realistic. A clown isn't supposed to look realistic.
No one can use the real. No one has a nose like that.
But it can look. It doesn't. If they took the makeup off, it would look really weird. But with the makeup on, it just looks like a clown nose.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying.
Okay, all right. I liked his powers.
Yes,
I thought it
they
was the
made
best
chi-
CG.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's something. The CG in this was a little hit and miss.
Yeah, but I thought his powers looked good.
Yeah, but they did smart. Every time they really showed him, he was like in the shadows.
Yeah, it was dark.
So they did that. I think next season they're gonna have a bigger budget. I think
hope.
everything's gonna look probably better.
I hope so, especially because next season, if what you're saying is right, and I believe it is, Drum Island would be the next big thing. Chopper needs to look good. I am definitely worried what Chopper will look like, but
Now, again, I'm saying what they need to do with Chopper is they need to do what they did with. I know you didn't watch this, but with the Dark Crystal series, what they did was they had puppets.
yeah, you've mentioned this to me.
So
on
yeah,
here before.
puppets can look great.
I think a
and
puppet
still
could
look,
work.
but what they do is they use CGI to accentuate features. Maybe make the lips move and smile. They can make it emote more. That's what they did with that show, and it's so subtle. I didn't even know that until I heard. So I think that's what they need to do with Chopper.
I want him to look like Salem.
Salem?
No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Salem looks horrible when you go back.
Oh, that would
He
be
looks so
hilarious.
bad.
Yes, he does.
The one thing with Chopper though is if they do puppets, they're gonna have to have a big puppet budget because he's got multiple forms.
Well, I think the multiple forms would have to be the CG, but I think when he's in his little form,
at least get that looking right.
I think that they could make that a puppet, but I don't know if they're going to. Netflix actually has a lot of good character design when it comes to like little monsters. They just did this movie called Chupa. I haven't watched it, but it's about Chupacabra, and it's this little
Chupacabra.
yeah, little animal. But I mean, it looks good.
Okay.
As far so, I mean, I think again, Chopper would likely. I was trying to think of how season 2 would go. It'd have to begin with Logtown, go into Reverse Mountain, then do Laboon,
Then Whiskey Peak.
then Whiskey Peak.
Then, oh no, the next big thing is not Drum Island. It's after Whiskey Peak they go to Little Garden. Giants.
Oh, yeah,
the 2
you're right.
giants, the wax.
So Drum Island would have to be the end of season 2.
I think so. I think we do Drum Island, and then season 3 is all Alabasta.
Yes, dude, it would have to be. There's no way they can contain Alabasta in half a season or a couple episodes.
I mean,
it would have to be the entire season.
I really wish we could get like a 16 episode season and just go from Logtown through all of Alabasta.
I think if we could get 12, I think that'd be a good compromise.
Get through Drum Island then on that case. I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna get rough with how they're gonna start
I
splitting
would be
things.
shocked. They have to do Laboon. Like they have to.
One episode for Laboon's fine though.
Yeah, but they have to.
One episode Laboon, one episode Whiskey Peak, 2 episodes Little Garden. Then we could do. They would probably try to push 2 episodes for Drum Island,
It would
which
have
is
to
gonna
be
be
2
too
to 3.
fast. But let's say they do 2.
Mhm.
That's only 6 episodes. We got 2 more for what? Beginning of Alabasta? I guess. I don't know.
I think we could probably push it to 10.
If they pushed
if
it
they
to
want
10,
to do the pacing that they've been doing.
they could. It would be crazy. I think it would be crazy. But if they wanted to do all of Alabasta in 4 episodes, I think it's insane. But maybe they could do it.
To convey all of that story and weight.
They do convey it all in one movie.
I guess you're right, but they don't show the beginning
Yeah.
of that.
You just jump in on Alabasta.
Yeah.
All right. So on to episode 3. Oh no, one more thing I wanted to say about episode 2. They cut out Choo Choo's story. The dog. At least we see him.
Yeah,
There's
I know.
a cameo
I was like,
of
hey,
him.
there he is.
I didn't like it because that's the moment when I get it. You gotta cut something out.
That's the moment when Luffy decides to start caring, right?
Well, it's the moment when Nami decides she likes Luffy, and she's
Oh,
not
that's
only
right.
tricking him, because she's like, this guy did all this for a dog and for the mayor to like help them in their story. It's like, maybe he's not a bad dude, but they just cut all that out.
Because she still at that point thinks he's just a dirty pirate.
Yeah, she doesn't like him. She doesn't trust him. This is the point where she decides to actually, even though she's still planning to trick him, she decides, maybe I can follow this dude for a while. I don't know. It's not really that important, but for me, when I first watched One Piece, that was the very first moment where I was like, whoa, there's something different about this. I know it's just a little thing, but I'm glad he was in there, though.
It's one of the very first hints that there's something special about Luffy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, at that point, he's just been, like, a very, like, cheerful guy, but this is the first time you get the sense that there's something different about this guy.
And that's my biggest problem with the live action. I think they cut out all those little moments that make you see there's something different about this guy. Because by the end, the only moment where I felt that was after he beat Arlong and he stands up. I'm like, okay, we got that. That's in episode 8, though. But we'll talk more about it. There's just so many things that they cut out where I'm like, this was an important Luffy thing to make us and the other crew members know Luffy's not a normal kid. But through so much of the live action, I feel like, why are they following him? He just seems like a dumb kid. Like, what is actually compelling them?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, I guess Zoro has kind of seen him do some pretty cool stuff at that point, but...
Yeah. So into episode 3, what do you think? 3 and 4. We'll just do 3 and 4 together.
That's
the whole
Syrup Village, right?
Syrup Village arc, which I argue is the worst arc in all of One Piece in the manga. Personal opinion. Okay. I think it drags. I don't think Kuro's plan doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many problems with that arc for me. But what did you think of it in the live action?
I thought they nailed it for the most part.
Yeah.
There were a few things that I was like, oh, like they killed Mary.
I know.
I was like, oh, Mary.
I felt like that was a good sign to me. I'm like, okay, Pell's gonna die. Like anybody who should be dead is gonna die. I'm like, thank you.
It feels like the creators of the show are like, Oda.
Yeah.
These people that you impaled him with five swords.
Yeah.
He has to die.
Yeah. What's the other dude it's on Whiskey Peak. Robin blows up his freaking ship. It's like it's the guy who has the crazy hair. He wears the wig. He's like Vivi's assistant.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
I can't remember his name. He gets blown up. The explosion is bigger than the whole island of Whiskey Peak. And then later he comes out with just a Band-Aid on. It's like, oh, I'm good. He's going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that Pedro is dead, by the way.
Me neither. I can't trust Oda anymore.
Like, he's going to pop up in the final battle, and it's going to be like, Pedro!
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, I knew you weren't dead.
He's going to come back. He's going to, like, be missing a leg and an arm, but he's going to be there.
And then, like, half a face or something.
Yeah, I don't believe he's dead either. No. Until it says the end at the end of the show and he never came back, then I'll believe it.
I do like there's a handful of characters that you know are dead, like the invisible guy from Thriller Bark.
Oh, God, I hope he's dead. Oh, no, he has to be dead. Yeah, because of
dead.
Blackbeard. What Blackbeard's doing, we know.
There's no way he can be alive.
You're right. That is cool.
So there's some characters that you know, like, oh, he's dead.
And I did write down Mary is killed. What do you think about Kaya in this?
Kaya.
Usopp's girlfriend, who Usopp kisses, by the way, that's a first.
She was all right.
I liked her.
I think she did a good job.
I liked her getting an expanded story.
Yeah.
Her role was a lot bigger.
I like how she, they made her more independent, but didn't do the thing where they make her mean or whatever.
She was very nice. I think she played Kaya very well.
Yeah, I think she did great.
When I first saw her, I was like, oh, she looks bad. And then I realized, oh, it's because she's sick.
That's what my wife, she was like,
Yeah.
I was like, she's literally dying.
Yet later when she was healthy, I'm like, oh, she looks like a normal person.
That's what I was like, yeah, there, she's got color in her face now.
Yeah, I'm like, why does she look like a ghost, dude? I'm like, what?
She's being poisoned.
Yeah, which is another thing they changed, because I actually think made more sense that she was being poisoned, because in the manga, it's just grief. She was so sick because of grief of her parents dying.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then Usopp's stories were the only thing that made her happy.
Yeah.
And that's why he kept coming by.
Yeah. I do feel like Usopp got screwed. I think he didn't get his entire story.
Hey, he told the fish poop story, though.
But yeah, he did, which was awesome. I loved when they did that.
I was like, hey.
I just feel like his story got screwed. Like they didn't show his background as much, like his childhood as much.
Well, they don't really do much with that in the manga anyway. Usopp's literally got the least tragic backstory of any of the. His mom dies of sickness, and that's sad.
His tragic backstory is that his dad leaves his family.
Yeah, but they don't delve into that or how he feels about that.
Yasopp, by the way, we didn't mention. He's one of the coolest characters in
Dude,
this freaking
Yasopp was
show.
Great.
Dude, he was awesome.
I like how they had the one guy having the leg of lamb.
He was so awesome as well.
I was like, yes.
I loved them. With Usopp though, what I'm saying is they got rid of Django.
Yeah.
Django's totally cut out of this, and
Yeah,
Django
that
is
was
Usopp's
disappointing.
moment. Yeah, like, but the thing is, I wrote it down here because I noticed it. Django has a poster in the
Does he?
show. When they're looking at the board, Django's poster's up there behind a couple of things.
Okay.
He exists in this world, but he's not in the arc.
There's no. They can't bring him in anywhere else.
And yeah, that's a problem because Django's. I'm not gonna say he's a big character later, but he does come back.
When does he come back?
I think he's part of the Marines now. I think he
think
does
you might
come
be
back. We
right.
see him again for sure.
I think you might be right.
As a small role. It's okay. My only problem with him being cut out here is that's what makes Luffy want Usopp to even join. Because in the live action, Usopp did nothing other than tell some stories and be fun. And Luffy's like, you gotta join my crew, man. You're a good shot.
I think that was they're just trying to show that Luffy is good at making friends.
Yeah. It just felt weird. It felt like he hadn't earned his spot on the crew. But in Syrup Village, he does take down Django. He protects Kaya.
They got rid of his little buddies too.
I was okay with
I
that.
was okay with
but-
it. I just noticed. I noticed the lack of them.
Yeah. If Django's gonna be gone, I wish they would have given Usopp a big moment that Luffy could have seen to be like, this guy's cool. There's a reason for him. But
I do like how he asked about his dad. In the anime, he barely asks about his dad.
yeah, that was cool. That was
He's
really
like, you
cool.
know my dad? And he's like, yeah, your dad's the best. He
Yeah.
tells the best stories.
I think that was mentioned in the anime, but it might have been.
It's like brief. It's like, oh yeah, you knew my dad? Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Anyway.
There's some filler with Yasopp that's in the anime, like him shooting or doing something. I can't remember if it's with Usopp. I think it's with Luffy.
It'd have to
But-
be, I'd feel like, because he just like abandons Usopp.
Yeah. I did not like Garp in Syrup Village. I don't know why he needed to be there.
Yeah, Garp in this, his casting is great, but Garp being in this as much as he was,
That was the worst decision, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that he was throwing cannonballs though.
Yeah, he threw that cannonball way too early, but and Luffy bounced it back with that. What did you think of his balloon?
I like
Luffy?
that they did it, but I'm not one to knock CGI,
Yeah.
but man,
It wasn't great. Actually, I thought the balloon itself was better than the explosion that followed. Did you see when it went back and it hit the mast and it exploded? It was straight, like, horrible CG
I'll have to
explosion.
look at it again.
Yeah, you should. It's something that we could just make right now. Like, easy.
That's funny.
That made me forget the balloon itself because I'm like, what was that explosion? But I do mentioning Garp though. I wish they would have, if they're gonna have Garp be in the story like this and do all of this, I wish they would have made less Garp and even more Kobe and Helmeppo.
Yeah, I do like that at the end that they were like buddies.
Yeah, I haven't really mentioned to you, but Kobe and Helmeppo are my standouts of this show for me. Like,
I don't know about standouts for me, but they definitely they
There are-
did stick out.
there are parts where I'm like, Kobe's the main character of this live action. Like, he's getting more character growth than Luffy is. Like,
Yeah, you really did.
yeah. And Helmeppo, I love Helmeppo's actor. He took a character that I could never like and made me like him.
Even now, where he's cool, you don't like him.
Well, now I might like him, but he doesn't do a lot. We barely see him
That's
now.
true, but you get the sense that he can do stuff.
Yeah. And I like that Bogart is there. The dude in the hat. Garp's assistant.
I can't remember what he does in the anime.
Almost nothing. That's the thing. He's such a small role, but he's with Garp all the way up until he speaks a little bit in Post Aeneas Lobby, and then he's suddenly gone. We haven't seen him again.
I wonder why.
I don't know, but I love that he's there.
I wonder if he got a vice admiralship.
I don't know, but he's there. He's doing things. It's known that he did train Helmeppo, so it's cool to see Helmeppo wanting to use swords, and Bogart uses swords.
That's right.
Okay, the next thing I wrote is Zoro doesn't use sword style often.
No, I think it's like twice,
Only twice.
which
yeah.
is disappointing.
Yeah. But
He doesn't even use it when he starts to fight Mihawk.
I know.
Like, he breaks out just I wonder if it was a problem was it was just, it's got to be just hard, right?
I think so. Yeah. I expected that they would like make a custom sword for him that can go in the mouth that could easily be hit, like easily be bitten.
I just assumed that they would put like a custom handle and then CGI the sword.
Or maybe they try. Maybe that would have looked bad.
Or
I don't
green
know.
screen, or like a green
Yeah.
thing. Just something is what I would assume, so it's not like hard.
Well, I assume it wasn't a real metal. I assume. I don't know.
No, they would have been prop.
Yeah, but it looked to me like he's putting the real sword handle in his mouth, and I understand that would be difficult. But yeah, why not make something that has like teeth
for the actor?
Yeah, for the actor, like
because you can make things look good and hide it and whatnot, and it's just I don't know. I agree. I noticed that too. I was like, oh, when he first busted out that third sword, I was like, yes, and then he didn't do it again until
the end.
And is that canon? Does he lose his swords?
Yeah, that's canon.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
He gets the other two in Logtown.
That's what I thought.
Do you remember they say it's cursed and he throws one up and puts his arm out and it doesn't cut him?
That's the one from Wano, isn't it?
No, that one breaks later and he gets a new sword from... Or that's not the one that breaks later. It's the other one he buys breaks later.
So the curse... Okay.
He still has that sword.
So he still has the cursed one.
Yeah.
So that sword's not the sword from Wano.
No, the sword from Wano, one of his swords breaks later in Thriller Bark.
Okay.
And he beats...
he beats that samurai guy.
Yeah, Ryuma.
Yeah.
And takes his sword.
That's right. And that's the sword that's from Wano.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he has to trade it for a different
sword. Inma.
Oh,
Inma's so sick.
Inma's so great.
Yeah. I was kind of sad he had to get rid of that sword, but then I'm like, but Inma though, like pretty cool. What did you think of Zoro's backstory?
I think they did all the backstories great.
Okay, yeah, let's just do a sweeping backstories. You think it was all good?
I think everybody's backstory was nailed, even Usopp's.
Usopp's, which was way cut down, but you get the
2
idea.
minutes of it.
Yeah, you get the idea.
Mom, don't. It was funny. I was watching that. She was like, Usopp. What is it she says to him? She's like, Usopp, you can do whatever you want or something.
I'm not sure.
I forget what the line. She's like, Usopp, you can be whatever you want to be. And then I was like, turned around doing something and listening, and I went, dies. Just as a joke. And then she died.
I did think that was ridiculous. I totally forgot about that.
Me and my wife, I had to pause it because me and my wife were laughing so hard.
That was so dumb.
Because she was literally like, you can do whatever you want. I'm in the back, dies. Because I'm expecting haha, and then she dies off camera. No, she just dies right there. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I felt no emotional punch from that I thought they wanted. She should have just died off camera.
I mean, I don't feel the emotional punch in the anime. Usopp doesn't have a sad backstory.
For sure.
I'm sorry, everybody. Yes, I'm not saying losing a parent and having a estranged parent isn't sad. That is, but Usopp's got his family. Usopp is living his dream currently. Usopp is fine. Everybody else has the look at Luffy's backstory, Nami, Zoro, Sanji's backstory. Sanji's backstory is double layered.
Since we're talking about backstories, what do you think of Sanji's?
Dude, they did that perfect.
It was the best backstory.
They did it absolutely perfect.
Nailed it. When I saw the island I thought they could go lazy. No, it's the exact island from the manga.
My first thought was, okay, are they going to go the anime route and Zeph lose his leg as he's saving Sanji?
Nope.
And then I saw him standing on the island with both legs, and I was like, oh, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
They're going to do it. And
they didn't show him breaking it off, which they do show it in the manga.
Yeah.
Still, I did feel the weight from that part. I thought that was all really good.
I love the actor who played Zeph, by the way.
Me too. He is perfect for Zeph. I can't imagine that's one I should have written down. Yeah.
Zeph.
He's a perfect casting.
Yeah, he did really good.
If we're going to go into episode 4 and 5.
Now, we're skipping through a lot of stuff, so, let us know if there's anything you liked in the comments and everything.
For sure.
Because, if we broke it down, we're already an hour into this. We could be here another 2 hours.
I'm skipping things that I wrote down, too. I have to mention, I cannot not mention Don Krieg.
Yeah, that was weird. He showed up and I was like, hey, there he is. All right. He's going to. So I was like, so he's going to escape. And then when he escapes, then that's going to have Mihawk chase him there. And then Mihawk just straight up kills him.
Oh, I forgot. I was saying Kobe was my standout. Mihawk's my standout.
Dude, Mihawk was great.
He's perfect
Yes.
for Mihawk. And I think that's
He's
one of the...
everything.
I think not just for this show, I think his introduction is one of the best introductions. I would rate it in like top 10 introductions I've seen in a TV show. Like he's on the phone with Garp and just like cutting down the ship, like blasts it from over there.
Dude.
It was cool.
And it wasn't even like one of his beams either.
Yeah.
It was just...
Yeah, no problem for him. He doesn't even know what he's doing. He's like, oh, I hit a ship. Oh, my bad. I do think it's very, 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 very weird that Mihawk would care at all what Garp tells him to do. Like, I need you to go hunt this little nothing pirate. And he's like, okay, I'll go get him.
Because, yeah, that's... Mihawk doesn't have a whole lot of issues doing what the government says because he knows I'll do what they say, and then after that, they let me do whatever I want.
I mean, that's true. I have to remember he's a warlord. He does work for them technically. I just thought it was super weird to have Garp calling up Mihawk. Like, go kill my grandson.
See, yeah... that's where one of the problems with Garp is. See, it's more if they would have had Don Krieg actually come in and Mihawk follow him, like in the story.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that is very circumstantial.
Yeah.
Like, because you think, oh, Zoro just happens to meet the guy
sure.
he's been looking for. He just happens to show up.
Yes and no, though, because Don Krieg's crew says that they left the Grand Line because of Mihawk and that he had been chasing them.
Yeah, but think about that. They just happened. That just happened to
I know.
happen for Zoro.
Yeah.
So I think this, from a storytelling perspective, is a better way to get Mihawk in there.
Yeah.
But as far as like, as far as the overall story, it doesn't make. It's problematic.
There's two big things we lose with that, though. One is just personal preference. I wish we didn't lose it. Is we don't get to see Mihawk on his little ship coming in and around all the other ships that are broken down and destroyed. That is just an epic moment. The other problem is, Don Krieg dies before going to Baratier.
That's a good fight.
That made me really angry because
he looked good too.
He looked great.
He brought out the cannon shoulder again. Realism.
People, oh, that's cool.
I'm just being.
It's like
stupid.
a mech.
I'm just being stupid.
A lot of people say Arlong Park is where One Piece gets good. I disagree. I really think it's Baratier. For me personally, I think that Don Krieg fight is super good. And the biggest issue I have with this, I hope you'll agree, I don't know, but I think cutting out Don Krieg makes it make absolutely no sense at all why Sanji joins the crew. Because Sanji only joins the crew because in the manga and anime, Luffy's asking him, you should join my crew. I need a cook. You're a good cook. But Sanji has no reason to do that. He owes his life to Zeph. He likes working on the restaurant. He loves cooking, even though he's not really being allowed to cook as much as he wants. But he changes his mind when he watches two things. First, Mihawk and Zoro, which we'll talk about that fight in a minute. But he doesn't even see it in the live action. He's not there. He sees Zoro like following his dream and almost dying for his dream. It really affects him. Then we see he watches Luffy as well, like defying all odds to follow his dream and beat Don Krieg. But that never happens. So in this, he literally, Sanji goes, Chore Boy offered me a job and I might take it. And it's like, okay.
And then he's like, well, good, take it. Fine. Okay. All right. And then he does. And then they have an emotional send-off that doesn't make sense because in the manga, it makes sense because they're all being really crappy to him. He makes one of the best dishes he's ever made at the time. And they all tell him it's worthless. It's awful because they're trying to get him out because they don't want it. Because
he doesn't want to leave.
He doesn't want to leave. And they're trying to like, get out of here, stupid. You're not, okay, I don't want you cooking for me. Go cook for that guy. Even though they know he needs to get out of here. Now, I like what Zeph said to him in the live action. You know, you're always going on and on about the all blue. Go out and find it.
Yeah.
You know, quit wasting your life here.
Yeah.
So I like what Zeph had to say to him, but the emotional send-off didn't work. But I did like this. Zeph told him to keep his feet dry.
Yeah.
I did like that. I appreciate it. There's subtle little moments that I'm like, I appreciate. Like,
yeah, I mean, the things I'm complaining about, like Don Krieg not being there and it ruining why Sanji joins the crew, all of this, I believe, is pacing issues.
Yeah.
Because they had to make it 8 episodes. They had to cut things out.
Again, if they could have just stretched it 2 more episodes, and that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
I don't know why Netflix, they used to do 10-episode seasons. Now their norm is 8, and I don't know why.
It's really frustrating.
And they're only hurting themselves when they do that.
Yeah, and something like One Piece for sure. It did hurt because of it.
We could have stretched that out and gotten. I guarantee you, we probably could have. It should have ended. Episode 9 should have ended with the tease of Smoker, and then the last episode is them in Logtown. Or in Log. No, episode 9 would be they would get there halfway. And then episode 9, they'd be in Logtown doing their thing. And then 10, Luffy is up on the mantle.
Yeah.
Like he does his thing where he tries to kill him. Doesn't work. Then they leave. Dragon saves him and all that. Then they go. And then it ends with their foot on the barrel.
I think that's what everyone expected.
That's what I would. That would have. It was right there.
That's what I expected.
It was right there on a platter.
2 more episodes. Logtown is not long. That's one you can.
Yeah,
you can make it one episode.
One episode, maybe an episode and a half if you really want to kind of go in depth about like here's a new character named Smoker. We got to kind of.
Well, Logtown's cool because we get a lot of history there, and you could go more into all of that, and we learn more about Gold Roger. But they could do it in one episode for sure. And then, in the whole show, foot on the barrel, like they did, but they did it at the wrong spot.
They're supposed to do it before Reverse Mountain because that's when they're
going
about to
up.
enter the Grand Line.
Yeah.
They're about. It's in the sea is storming too.
Yes. Yeah.
The sea is storming, and that's part of the reason is they're like, hey, let's do it. We're already in a dangerous situation. Might as well start it off right.
All of that just shows me how good of a writer Oda is. Like, seeing his, like, the same things he wrote but changed a little bit, it's like, I can see how the way he put it and where he did it, it really makes it hit you a certain way. Okay, Mihawk and Zoro fight. What did you think?
Perfect.
Perfect?
They did 2 moments in this show. Perfect.
I think I know the other one.
The other one we'll get to later, but I mean, the other one,
Yeah, I agree.
Nate even messaged me about the Zoro fight. That is just...
Nate messaged me too about it.
I think they did the fight perfect.
I saw it side by side with the anime. It's very close. Very, very close. Yeah.
Again, could have used more of that third sword.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Fighting the strongest swordsman in the world and you're not going to use your third sword.
Yeah. At that point, it does make it feel like if you don't know the character that he does just carry around a third sword just cuz.
Which it makes sense for new viewers. Like he carries it because it was Kuina's and he wants to keep it safe or whatever. But then why does he ever fight with it then?
Yeah.
Yeah. I personally, though, didn't love his speech at the end. I know Nate loved it. He said he thought the speech was perfect. I don't know what you think about it.
I thought it was... They could make characters cry a little more in this.
Yeah, that was my issue. Is Zoro is...
He should have... They had him put his hand on his head, which he does in the manga, but that's Zoro at his absolute lowest moment you ever see him.
Ever.
You never see him that even when nothing happened. That's Zoro's lowest moment.
Because this moment happened.
True fans will understand what I mean when I say nothing happened.
They know. Yeah, they know.
Even when nothing happened, that's not even his lowest moment.
That's one of his
lowest.
Yeah.
The lowest moment is right there, and that should have had him like just tormented over. I cannot believe I was this stupid to think I'm that good yet. I have to keep going.
Yeah. I didn't feel the emotion in him is my problem. I think the speech was right.
They got
things
it right.
he said was right.
It felt phoned in.
Yeah, it 100% did.
It felt like they were ticking a box.
Yes. Yeah, and I think that sucks because that's one of the... I think that speech, it's not just the Mihawk fight. That speech is the moment, whenever I show new people One Piece, that speech is the moment where you can see something click in them like, oh, I like this.
And even they took out the part where Zoro says, do you have a problem with that, Pirate King?
Yes!
Like when he tells him, Pirate King, I see you. You are the Pirate King. Not yet, but I am going to follow you and I'm going to hone my skills to be your first. I did like that he said first mate.
Yeah.
Because no one ever thinks about that, but Zoro is number 2 on the crew.
Yeah.
Which is weird to think about.
And what's weird in this live action...
He's the Rayleigh of the crew.
What's weird in the live action, though, is I feel like Usopp's the actual first mate. He's the first one to really join.
Yeah.
Because Zoro did not join until that part later.
Yeah.
He was just following them for whatever reason.
Because Zoro was like committed to it in the anime.
Yeah.
In the manga. But when he does, we got a train going by.
We've had it before. I don't think they can hear it on these
Okay.
mics anymore.
Okay,
but-
good. So anyway, we don't have a train going by. But like you said, that's the moment that Zoro decides I'm committed to this. I'm going to see this to the end. If I'm going to be the greatest swordsman, the path I have to take is to follow this guy to become the king of the pirates.
And he never backs out on that.
And he says he'll never lose again. And
He never has that I know of.
I guess if you think about it, against Kuma when he slaps him away,
That's not losing. Yeah, Kuma was saving their lives.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different. What can be done?
Yeah, Zoro was accepting defeat in that moment, so you can kind of, and I guess you can does it count when it's training?
No.
Okay.
Training? Come
Because
on.
when he trains with Mihawk.
No. That's just training.
Okay.
He meant in real fights.
So yeah, and he hasn't lost a single fight since.
He's nearly died.
Luffy's lost fights. Everybody has lost a fight except Zoro. Zoro has won every single fight he's been in since he lost to Mihawk.
That was a disappointing part to me.
You know that's going to come down to it at the end is Mihawk versus Zoro.
I'm sure. I don't know. That was a disappointing part for me. I thought the fight was so good, so I had so many expectations for the speech, and then it was like, all right, like I haven't gotten that far in the Japanese. I need to see how it feels, but
I was disappointed we didn't get to see Don Krieg's cool spike cape.
there's so much about Don Krieg I really wanted to see. Honestly, I know it's ridiculous. If we don't count Smoker, Don Krieg's my favorite East Blue villain. Like, I love Arlong, but
I got to give it to Arlong.
Arlong is just... I think I'm just over Arlong. I like him, but Don Krieg was the first one to me that was scary. Every villain before that's like...
Oh, and then they got the guy from Don Krieg's crew come in that
Yeah,
Sanji feeds the
Geen.
risotto to, Geen.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, maybe they will do something. Maybe Don Krieg's not dead. Maybe, oh no.
And then Geen only comes in so that Luffy can see, Sanji's a good guy.
That's
He
literally
gives people
it.
food.
Yeah, there's no other reason.
Yeah, and Geen's actually a really cool character. In the manga, Geen saves Sanji and Luffy's lives. He holds the masks on their faces and lets himself be poisoned. And we assume he died after that.
Geen's not dead either.
Probably not, but he was fatally poisoned, but that's not enough to kill you in One Piece.
So was Luffy in One Piece. Luffy's been poisoned. 10
Luffy
million-
has resistance because reasons.
Not in the live action yet.
Yeah.
He just pukes up all that poison
That's
because
true.
plot.
Oh, we skipped over that, but they cut out Django, but they gave more role to the other minions.
Yeah, the
Meow.
Meow Band brothers.
Yeah.
Siblings, I guess.
I
Meow Band
liked
siblings.
them well enough.
They were all right.
They were funny.
They were all right. I appreciated that their outfits were accurate.
They were very accurate. Yes. And I will say their fight with Zoro was actually cool.
You know what? They left one thing out of that. They didn't give the big dude the 6-pack.
Yeah, he was supposed to have a six-pack.
Remember
right?
in the anime, he makes him strong, and then the big dude gets like
Yes.
abs.
Yeah, they like stab into him,
Yeah.
and like he gets really strong. Okay, let's see what we did not talk about. This is okay, actually. These ones that they cut out, I was okay with it. Johnny and Yosak,
Oh yeah, I didn't care.
I like them.
I like them
but
in the anime, but they don't serve a purpose.
unimportant, completely
If
unimportant.
they just stuck with the crew, maybe a different story. But
Yeah.
they're there until Arlong Park, right, or Logtown.
I think they leave at the end of Arlong Park. Yeah, I don't think
'Cause
they go
stay
to
behind
Logtown.
at Coco
Kokoyashi Village.
Kokoyashi Village.
Yeah, no Hachi.
That's awful.
Yeah,
That's not forgivable. I gotta knock him points on no Hachi.
I totally agree.
Hachi is, unless they're just like planning to not do Sabaody.
No. That's impossible.
Like unless they just don't have faith that they're gonna get that far.
That's what I thought. When I saw no Hachi, I was like, oh, we're admitting that we're not going to go
I mean,
all the
because
way.
you gotta
Like,
admit, that would be probably 10 seasons down the line. It
depends how they did it, but yeah, it'd be a while.
I mean, these actors are the way they would have to do this show. The actors would be in their 50s before it was done. They would not look young anymore.
Yeah, for sure. They depends with all they cut out and things. but
Right.
yeah, if we got to Sabondi,
Sabondi, Sabaody, however you
I've
pronounce
never
it.
heard Sabaody. Is that how they say it in English? What?
And that's how it's spelled.
They say Shabondi in the Japanese.
It's not spelled like that.
Whatever. It
But you
sounds
told me
cooler.
it's the way the kanji is can say Sabaody or Shobondi.
Oh yeah, I read about that. So, or no, Grand Line Review was talking about it. I think. Anyway,
Because I think he says Sabaody.
I'm not sure. But anyway, not having Hachi sucks because, first of all, we don't get Zoro's cool fight.
Nope.
We just get... He's there to help Sanji. He's there to back up Sanji in Arlong Park. And that's going to affect things majorly because if they ever do make it to Shibundi, we now no longer have the reason for Luffy to punch a Celestial Dragon and bring Kizaru and bring Kuma to do everything he does.
The way they'll have to do it is he'll just have to punch the dragon for the mermaid. Like,
It's not going to be the same.
it's not.
It's such an emotional hit.
Because Hachi had just literally, more or less, other than Nami, won them over.
Yes.
Like, he's cooked for them. He's told them, hey, look, I'm living a different life now. I understand we were in the wrong. I just want to try and be peaceful and get along with the humans. I was kind of brainwashed by that guy. And then everybody again but Nami, because for good reasons,
understand.
For good reasons.
Yes.
Had like, all right, fine. Especially Luffy. If you feed Luffy,
He likes you.
you're okay. You're good in his book. And Hachi fed Luffy. And then that dude shot Luffy. Or shot Hachi.
Yeah. It's not going to be as emotional if Cammy gets shot. Like, we don't know Cammy.
Or they just have him there as a guy who feeds them.
What I thought was going to happen, I really thought maybe they'll do this because there's way more fishmen at Arlong Park than in the anime.
Maybe they'll just have him like there. Oh, I remember you.
Exactly. Yeah. And then like
that could be.
Make a fake flashback scene that wasn't actually in season 1 where we see him like watching them or something fighting.
Yeah.
It's not as cool.
No. But again, that's got to be like season 8, 9, if they do it.
Yeah.
I mean, because they still would have to go through all the way up through Drum Island, then Alabasta, then Skypiea, then Water 7 and Enia's Lobby, then Thriller Bark,
Yep.
then
Shibundi. Yeah.
I mean,
It would be wild if we ever got that. I don't believe it.
that's because Thriller. After that, all the arcs would have to be their own season.
My hope is just get us through Enia's Lobby and I'll be happy.
My hope is get me through. I want to meet Brooke.
Oh, no way. My realistic hope, like actually what I think really will probably happen is get us through Alabasta. If we can see all of Alabasta.
That's the main original crew.
Yeah.
But God, no Frankie, no Brooke, no Robin.
Well, Robin will be there, but not in the
gonna be
crew.
part of the crew. She'll join at the very end.
Yeah.
Robin's such an essential part of the crew.
Yeah.
And Robin, again, is my favorite in like the cover arts. She's or even anytime there's like the crew is together on the ship being wacky or whatever or doing stuff, or even if they're like arguing or something, if you look at Robin, no matter what's going on, she's just sitting there just
chilling,
just enjoying being with her family.
Robin's
she's my favorite character to look at in those.
I'm interested to see what they'll do with her for sure.
And I love that because she has some of the most turmoil that you don't think that she's ever going to be happy. And then she finally does find the people that make her happy. And every time, no matter what's going on, as long as she's with them, she's happy. And I love that.
I can't wait to see them not fully deliver on her backstory.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, and I think the biggest moment I want to live. Well, yeah, and I want to live. Take me to the sea.
Oh, they got
I'm concerned they won't after some of the speeches given in this.
I've never heard the English version of that. I don't think
I've heard it. It was all right. Not as good as the Japanese one.
God, when she says that in it's such a good delivery.
And then it's that line, and then she goes in with that same voice into "I want to go to the sea."
Take me out to the sea.
God, it's so good.
And at that point, Robin's actually the oldest crew member. She's like 30.
She's 28 when they meet her. She's 30 now.
Yeah, and they're all like in their late teens, maybe early 20s.
Yeah, but now the oldest other than Brooke is Frankie, right? I think he's 30 something.
Frankie is 34 currently. Brooke's like 80,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, Brooke doesn't count. Okay, next I had
Jinbei's like 48, I think. Jinbei's old.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
We got a mention of Jinbei.
We did, but he does get mentioned in East Blue.
It's still like I was like, oh, Jinbei's my second favorite. He's my second favorite after Brooke.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love Jinbei.
God, he's so cool. Every time, I love him because every time he shows up, it's like the hype.
Yeah.
It's like, my boy's here, yeah.
That was one thing that made me like, because they did answering 50 One Piece questions video, like the cast did, and someone asked, did Jinbei join the crew? And they're all like, no, he didn't join. He's just an honorary member. And I'm like, excuse me?
He's the 10th member.
I'm like, what do you mean?
He's number 10.
How can you not know this?
Luffy said he wanted 10 people. Jinbei is 10.
He is 100% in the crew, especially after Wano. Well, I mean, he was already 100% in after Whole Cake, but he actually came in Wano, and he's there.
He had to tie up a few more loose ends after Whole
Like,
Cake.
on Egghead, he's there. He goes with them in the ship.
We finally have all 10 of them together doing a mission, doing an adventure. Like,
Yeah.
not just meeting up and now halfway through. No, Jinbei is there for the long haul. Then if you think about it, this is the first time in years that we've had the whole crew together from the very beginning.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
The whole crew. I mean, all the way from Luffy to Jinbei.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think we're going to get any more. Ooh, we could have had one more. We could have had one more crewmate.
I still think we're going to get that other crewmate. I think because that crewmate still wants to join, and Luffy said that they'll come back for them. But let's see. People, okay, we're doing all spoilers out. Can I say it? If you haven't read the manga, back away now.
Wait, me too? I'm 2 chapters behind.
No.
Okay,
Yamato.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of fans, I just learned this recently, speculated Yamato would not join the crew because Luffy doesn't call Yamato by her name, only nicknames. But Luffy calls every crew member by their name.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, frustrating.
Because if he, yep.
Okay, let's go into our last 2 episodes. So we've got the Arlong Park arc.
Yes, okay.
Oh, I wanted to mention I don't know, maybe I'm conflicted about that they made it look like Nami was going to leave them like she does in the anime and run off, but she didn't.
Yeah.
She stayed.
Doesn't she steal the Mary too in the anime?
Yeah, she steals the Mary.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, I loved that betrayal. But she didn't do any of that in the live action.
No.
But they made it look like she would.
Yeah, I went as soon as I was like, okay, here she's about to leave and be, because Zoro said something hurtful to her, like, because she's like, you're my friend, and he was like, what?
Yeah,
and then she storms off and like, here it is, this is where she's gonna go, and they'd be like, where's Nami? But then Arlong just shows up.
That's weird too. I don't like that Arlong is hunting Luffy.
Yeah,
I know he
weird.
wants the map to the Grand Line, which also I think them making this map to the Grand Line so important in the live action is weird.
Yeah, everybody knows about the Grand Line.
Yeah,
like and I think
Arlong's from the Grand Line.
And I think at that point, it's also common knowledge what the Reverse Mountain is.
I would think so, but
like everybody, they haven't seen it, but they know of it. Everybody knows to get there, you got to go through Reverse Mountain.
Yeah, you got to go through over the Red Line and get into the Grand Line. And Arlong's from the freaking Grand Line.
Do you think
he was part of the Sun Pirates originally?
Do you think they're gonna hit any calm belts either?
I hope we see a calm belt, but I don't know.
Which do exist in real life.
Really?
Yeah, there's a few areas where there's no tides, no winds.
But are there sea beasts that will kill your entire ship?
Maybe.
I don't like that everyone's chasing Luffy. I think it's strange because at this point he's supposed to be nothing.
Yeah.
Nobody.
He's not supposed to be anything until he gets that bounty. Did he get his poster at the right spot?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, I couldn't remember when he got it.
Which we can just talk about that now. Bounty reactions in live action were pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. They do that in the anime, so I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that Mihawk delivered it to Shanks. That's the same as the anime and manga.
I loved Shanks' reaction. Everybody's reaction to it.
Yeah.
They were like, it's Luffy.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I did love that.
Like, they all got excited. Hey.
Yeah. But with the Grand Line map, I do wonder if live action only viewers are going to be a little confused because they make it seem so important. Like it's the map to the One Piece.
Yeah.
It's literally the map to enter this other ocean.
It's a map to enter another part of the world.
That's very massive and expansive and doesn't get you. And lots of people are just born there, live their whole life there, and it's normal.
I don't think, again, spoilers, I don't think that Laugh Tale is on the planet.
You think it's off planet?
I mean, they keep talking about these Lunarians and all this.
There's moon stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, though.
They keep talking
I
about...
guess let's see.
I think they're going to... At least they're going to go to the moon.
I think something's gonna happen with the moon.
Because they keep talking about Lunarians and they're the ancient species, and they're building that up because that's what King is.
Yeah, and now we've got the Seraphim.
Yeah, they're all Lunarians.
Yeah, but okay. Let's see. Oh, this I thought was weird. Luffy actually listens to and cares about people's stories in the live
that's
action.
weird.
Yeah,
I was like, Luffy doesn't care about your story. He just cares what you can do.
yeah. That's what made Luffy different and interesting in the anime and manga, especially at that time. Now he's like the guy who really listens.
Mm-hmm.
He does a lot of listening. And I'm like, that's not Luffy.
Yeah, he'll sit down. Well, tell me your story. I'm
Yeah.
like, Luffy doesn't listen. He falls asleep while you're telling the story.
Every time they're telling a story, I kept expecting for it to go to him asleep or like wanting to leave, and it never did. He's always like, yeah, I understand. Like, what? How did you guys get to that? Like,
I think they're trying to make him, because that kind of can make him unlikable when he seems like he doesn't care. Because there are times when it is hard to like, because you're like, oh, Luffy's so awesome, because when he's fighting and doing stuff, he is awesome. But then when you see him actually hanging out with people, he's kind of self-centered.
at first, though, I think he gets better. I think that shows his character growth.
But that's also it also is part of his character, because he doesn't want to be a hero.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to share the meat. He wants the meat.
Yeah.
He wants all the meat.
That's what I like about Luffy, though, is that he is a douche. Like, almost every anime, like, protagonist is that guy. I'm that savior. Luffy's not that guy.
They show a little bit of it when they have him smack Kobe. A little bit of that, because he's like, don't you say your dreams are stupid.
Yeah.
You know, spit it out. What is your dream?
Really quickly, I wanted to mention Nami reading Zoro the Nolan story. Just a little cool thing.
I was
that
like,
was
hey,
cool.
all right.
I put Arlong at the Baratier.
That was strange.
Skipping ahead here. Hold on just a second, guy. Oh, the crew carrying around Buggy's head was pretty funny.
That was funny. It was off model, but whatever.
Yeah, it was weird, but it was cool.
Yeah.
I guess.
I like how his little neck would wriggle around.
Yeah. We talked a little about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
We didn't talk about they did Little Buggy.
They did do Little Buggy. Yes.
They did Little Buggy. I was like, come on, do Little Buggy. And then my wife was even like, come on, they have to.
Yeah,
And,
and
like,
they did.
There he is, Little Buggy.
And he looked great.
He did.
He looked great. Too bad he didn't go meet Gaimon.
No.
But Gaimon's in it. He's
Wait, which one's Gaimon?
the guy stuck in a treasure chest with
He's
the.
in it?
He's not. We don't see him himself. There's a painting in the Baratier of Gaimon.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like everybody who they cut out is in it.
That one's canon?
That is not filler. That is canon.
I always thought that was not canon.
That is canon.
Oh my god. That was the first episode of One Piece I ever watched.
I mean, if your wife knows about it, she's only reading the manga, right?
I don't know if I don't remember if I asked her about that.
Oh, I thought you said she. Oh no, you know she was saying Little Buggy. She was saying Little Buggy.
Yeah.
Not Gaimon.
Yeah. Did you know that? That was the first episode of One Piece I ever saw.
No wonder you weren't that interested.
Yeah.
It's from his cover story. It doesn't happen in the story of like the chapters. It's his cover story.
So, but do they actually meet him in the manga? Where they have a whole episode with him? Or a whole chapter with him on his island?
No, it's just cover story.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Little Buggy's Big Adventure.
Okay, so the crew themselves don't actually meet him like they do in the anime.
No.
Okay.
No. Oh, God, now I'm not sure. I'm unsure.
I don't think that's canon. I think the cover story is canon, but I think the episode where the crew meets him is not canon.
I'm on Arlong right now reading through the manga.
Okay.
I'll let you know. The comments are going to let me know. Oh, yeah, I need to do that before we leave. Sanji's moves are still in French. Sanji's British
Yes.
for some reason, but his moves are in French.
I was like, why not just at that point get a French actor? Maybe I was about to say maybe they can't because French actors can have a hard time with the language. No, the guy in The Boys, Frenchie. There's a character named Frenchie, and he's French, and the actor is French, and he acts great. So they, again, the accents of a lot of these characters threw me off, mainly because if I'm watching it in Japanese, I'm watching it in English, which they have American accents.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad they all have like different accents because it makes the world feel like
That's true.
like there's more than just Americans and whatnot. So I like that. But at the same time, Sanji, if we ever do make it to Sanji's other backstory,
They got to be British now.
they all have to be having the same accent.
They probably won't.
Nope.
I really don't think they will.
Nope.
I thought Bellemere's death wasn't as epic.
No. No, not at all.
Very watered down.
Oh my god. Yeah, I was disappointed. I was like, because because she dies at like he immediately. They don't come out and see her. She's like, "Do you have kids?" And then she just can't deny it.
They're held back. They're not near her. They
Yeah.
do see it happen.
Oh yeah,
but
you're right.
They're like, I think the mayor's holding them back. Somebody's holding them back.
Yeah,
they were running for her.
I think it's the dude with the scar.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, another good cast.
He was a perfect cast.
He
You're right.
looked really good.
He was very, very good. Yeah, but that was super watered down. My final big problem with this live action is I can finally talk about it. It's here.
Okay.
It's not the villagers and Nojiko not knowing that Nami's actually trying to save them. They all really hated her.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she eventually has the breakdown, because she finds out that everybody was trying to protect her and like that she could leave if she wanted to betray them. It also makes no sense at all that Nojiko has her tattoos, because she only got her tattoos to try to make Nami feel better about being forced to get the Arlong tattoo.
Yeah, you're right.
So why the F does she have all the tattoos? Other than I guess they just look cool. But yeah, it was very weird that she had to like tell them and nobody knew. I don't know why that changes the emotion for me so much.
Yeah, like I thought that it was other like when she didn't tell, when they were like when Nojiko was like, I don't, my sister isn't my sister, she's just a thief or whatever. I
Yeah.
can't remember how she said it, but yeah, alluded she didn't know.
Yeah, and like Nojiko tried to actually protect Nami when they first meet Nojiko. Because everybody knows. And yeah, I don't know. But do you want to talk about the perfect scene?
Yes, dude. Yes.
I assume we're talking about the same thing. I mean,
dude, when other than it was at night.
it was at night, which was kind of weird.
But that's
But
the only
it
thing.
didn't matter.
It didn't matter, but dude, when Daisuke,
Yeah.
They did it.
Daisuke.
perfect, dude.
Yeah.
I was waiting. I was sitting there. I was like, it got me emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Not because the weight of the story, but I was just like, they nailed it. They did it. This is perfect.
So what we're talking about is when she's stabbing the tattoo, and
She's like, Arlong. Oops. She's Arlong. You know, and even then in the end, and when you're hearing her just scream Arlong, you don't think they're gonna do that, and she's just gonna I know she's screaming Arlong, because she can't kill Arlong.
Mm-hmm.
She can't stop him. The only thing she can think is, I just hate Arlong. Just get him off of my shoulder. I hate him.
Mm-hmm.
And which another thing is it also kind of makes it, but you don't see all the crap he puts her through.
Yeah, you
To
don't
make her drive to that point.
Yeah,
But
they did it well enough.
they did it well enough. But
Yeah.
and then Luffy stopping her. They did show his face.
I didn't like that.
I didn't. I was like,
But-
don't show his face, please. And they weren't at first. I was like, okay, they're not gonna do it. And then they showed it. And I was
Yeah.
like, eh.
Luffy or Nami, that moment convinced me that Nami's actress is good for Nami. Because I didn't feel any Zoro's speech, any of the other speeches and things that had to be delivered really well. I didn't feel the emotion. She did it. She had the right voice when she asked
mean,
for him
even-
to help.
When they had to have done that take a million times.
Maybe.
They
I
had
don't
to.
know.
Like, there's no way, because she says it in the anime. I can't remember how it sounds in English, but in Japanese, she sounds like she's like at her like lowest, again, her lowest, most desperate moment, and she just, Luffy, help me, God, I don't know what else I can do. Please help. I've seen you help people. Help me, please. And she nailed it.
She pulled it off I was so impressed with her actress at that part. And I was impressed with the direction immediately after there of, okay, I actually don't like Luffy in this scene when he screams.
I love that.
It's just, I know he does it in the anime
That's
too,
why I loved
but I didn't feel the emotion in his voice. Again, I just me thinking he's a bad actor, I guess.
I don't think he's a bad actor. I think it's just you can't match her
Yeah.
energy. You cannot. Her energy.
that was my
can't be
problem, I guess.
matched.
He didn't match her energy, but in the anime, he did match her energy.
I felt like his actions and his emotion matched. I just don't think he can match the energy. I think he matches the emotions and acting fine. I think he can't hit the energy that she hits, because she hits it. There's very few casting choices that are just perfect. Kevin Conroy as Batman. As for voices, Kevin Conroy as Batman. Mark Hamill as the Joker. I can't remember Luffy's voice actress's name, perfect.
Colleen Clinkenbeard.
Yes.
No, just kidding.
Yeah, let's hear her just phone in those screams.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah. But right after that though, I was right back in it because they had him walking out and all the crew sitting in the exact spot they're supposed to be sitting for the walk to Arlong Park, which unfortunately then did not happen.
No.
That made me upset. They should have straight walked there.
I was waiting for it. I was like, yes, they're going to do it. I was waiting for, come on. I was waiting for,
yes. That's the moment.
And I was like, come on, they did We Are. They got to do that at least. And then they didn't.
Yeah, that sucked. But everything up until they didn't do that, it was perfect. I literally have in my notes, like, it's perfect.
Like this, and that's something we talked about.
Yeah.
Is that they said when we said, what do they have to get right? That scene.
That was one of the moments.
They had to get that scene right, and they did.
They got some right. They didn't get others right. This is why I don't think it's perfect, but I also don't think it's bad.
I do. I'll concede. I don't think the Zorro moment was perfect, but I'd give it maybe a solid 8.
I give the fight.
The emotion is what knocks. There's no emotion in it.
Yeah, I want to see it in Japanese. It might be good in Japanese. Yeah. But then I don't understand. It was just a dumb little thing. It doesn't really matter. How did Usopp get smoke bombs all over Arlong Park? Because all these smoke bombs go off, and then the lip guy, I can't remember his name now, he's like, who would be dumb enough to attack us? And then they kick in the door.
Yeah.
How the F did he get smoke bombs laying all over Arlong? He's never even been there.
Yeah, it's a good point.
He had been there in the manga.
Yeah.
Because Nami stabs her hand, pretends to stab him to save him.
Yeah.
We don't get that. But, okay, so then we're on to the fight. So the final fight in Arlong Park.
I think they hit the beats right.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did it right. I would have liked maybe... I would have liked a little bit more of the Gum Gum Gatling.
They did it though.
They did it,
but
but when Luffy busts out the think about that. Gum Gum Gatling is how he takes down Crocodile.
Yeah.
And when he's busting, that's like one of his at this point, power moves.
Definitely.
And that's his move that he's like, all right, I'm just done. And I'm just gonna pelt you with a bunch. And I felt they could have put more emphasis into it. But that final kick with the, what is it?
Axe, right? Battle axe.
Yeah, when they did battle axe. At first, I was like, how? I couldn't remember, but that it was an actual axe, brings down the whole thing in half. And I'd forgotten about that, and I was like, yes, they did that right.
Yeah.
So they did it, like I said, they hit the beats right. I think like most of the show, it was rushed. I feel like they could have drawn it out a little more. I liked that they had his teeth growing back after they were knocked out.
It was cool they at least put that in there.
But I would have liked him to be like, after he done that, just rip.
Partly budget constraints. That might have been difficult.
Maybe little things I would have appreciated myself. But let's see. I liked Arlong, by the way.
I liked him. I liked all the fishmen. I thought they looked all right.
They made him... I don't remember if Arlong is... He's all into just oppressing the humans just because he thinks they're inferior.
Well, he thinks fishmen, they are better. Yeah.
But he doesn't, that I remember, go too much into the treatment of how humans treat fish people. I don't think he...
I can't remember, but Arlong was a slave.
He was... No, I'm not saying, but I don't think in the manga, it feels like they made him act a little bit more like Hody Jones.
Kinda.
I saw a lot more Hody Jones than Arlong in this.
I could see that.
Because Hody Jones is a lot more angsty, a lot more angry. Arlong is having a blast with everything he does in the manga.
I do want to say I know I hated Arlong's design a lot before, and looking back, I think they gave him his worst looking moments in that freaking trailer.
Yeah,
the fishmen look way better when I see them in the show. I don't know why. In the trailer, it was just, I think it was because they only really did a lot of wide shots on him in the trailer. When they get close, I can see this is actually pretty well done.
Yeah,
but the wide shots, I'm like, what? And I still, even in the anime, I don't like when Luffy flew out the door and Arlong walks up. I just think he looks ugly there for some reason. That brings me to another thing I wanted to mention. I love the final fight in Arlong Park. All of that's great. Doesn't make any sense anymore because now Luffy got absolutely demolished by Arlong, just a day before?
Yeah.
And now he's there I have power because my friend's in danger.
Yeah, see, they don't... In the anime, you get it because... friendship gives you power, but it's more to it than that. But it's like he has a strong willpower. I don't get the sense that this Luffy has a strong will.
Same. And Luffy had never fought Arlong before in the manga. We could believe that he could go and maybe beat him. But in the live action, he just got completely demolished. It was a total one-sided fight on the Baratier.
Yeah.
And then the next day, like, Arlong can barely hit him.
Now, that does fit in line with how One Piece does a lot of its stuff, where Luffy will get his butt kicked, and then the very next time they meet, he'll just destroy
But Luffy
them.
trains.
Yeah.
We have a lot of training stuff. We'll have at least him learning some new ability. We didn't see... It was just like a day later. We didn't see any of that happen.
Now, I think that could just be bad conveyance of time.
That's true.
I think that's
it
what
felt
a lot
like
of that
one
is,
day later to
which
me.
they
but
have
maybe.
to do in a lot of shows
Yeah.
and movies where, like, you're trying to rush. Well, I can't just show you the next 3 days of their mission. So
Yeah.
I don't. What do you want to see them sailing for 3 days? Okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of teleporting around.
Yeah,
There's
so-
not a lot on the sea stuff.
I mean, because you can get almost anywhere in One Piece in a couple days.
yeah.
But
So for me, at least, only two final things I want to mention, and if there's anything else you want to mention, I didn't like at all that we get that final reveal. Garp and Luffy fight. Don't like that happening.
No.
And then we get that final reveal. Oh, Garp's just testing him. Garp's just making sure he's gonna be a good pirate. What?
that's lame.
None of that made any sense.
See, when Garp comes in the later, he's rescued him,
Yeah.
and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna give you a 3-day head start
Yeah.
because I'm still the Navy. I'm still in the Navy." And they do have that. You weren't supposed to be you weren't supposed to be a pirate. Now you've started war on the government.
Yeah.
And then he has all that, but and at that time you build it up. It's built up, and then we all know that Garp is the grandfather. But then it's all that time. Wait, Garp is your grandpa?
Yeah, it's cool. It's a crazy reveal. And that's the same time when Garp also mentions Dragon to him, and we learn Dragon's his dad. Like,
And Luffy has next to no cares for Dragon.
I've almost never heard him say anything about Dragon.
He's just like, Dragon's your dad. Oh, anyway.
Yeah, I don't think he grew up with Dragon in his life at all. I guess we'll find out later
Because
when...
Crocodile was Luffy's mom.
Yeah. It's because Garp played the father figure in a way. I mean, Don. Is that her name?
I think so.
Dadon?
Dadon.
She played both parents, basically,
Yeah.
but Garp in a way was the father figure.
Yeah, because Garp was away doing Navy stuff all the time.
Yeah, it just didn't make any sense to me that it wasn't. He said he's testing him to do what? To be a good pirate. That's what it comes off as. Like, you don't want him to be a pirate at all. Why would you
Yeah.
even need to test him? Like,
I agree. I thought I kept every time while I was watching with Ariel, I was like, this is too early. Now I'm fine with them focusing on Garp and Kobe and all that.
I mean, that stuff did happen around that time. Garp was training them at that time, but not all the chasing Luffy stuff.
Yeah, no, it's not and he doesn't ever chase Luffy.
He never really chases him, only after Enies Lobby, yeah.
And that's when he starts
Or is it
tossing the
another time?
cannonballs at
Yeah.
him.
And he tosses a giant cannonball at him. But
But I did appreciate that they did at least have him doing it. And I like that they at least showcased a little bit of how strong Garp is.
yeah, that as well. They did showcase a little bit, but let's not forget this is the strongest person in all of the Navy, all of the Marines, like physically speaking. One punch should have like ripped Luffy's insides out of his body.
You got to imagine he's pulling
True,
back.
but also, how did this guy, Garp, like think about everything we know about Garp. One cannonball hits his ship and he's like, he got away.
Yeah.
Like, really? I don't know.
I liked how they did Garp ship in this. Because
His ship was cool.
So in the anime, they're all just massive looking pirate ships.
Yeah.
Now what they've done, and I assume what they'll do with like most of the other ships, is they're gonna do a combination. It's gonna be more or less a battle tanker.
Yeah.
But with sails.
It was cool.
And it had the dog head on the front. I thought his dog hat looked lame.
Oh, the one when he actually wore it?
Yeah, I thought his hat looked lame.
Yeah, but at least they tried with it.
It looked like
I mean,
they just like at the last minute were like, oh shoot, he wears a dog hat. Here you go.
I mean, that's probably what. Never mind. I was gonna say that's probably what Usopp's nose would have looked like.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm just like, it's those little weird like anime only things that just don't translate over well. But That was all right.
I want to know how, if they ever get to it, how they're gonna do Whitebeard. Dude's 21 feet tall.
What about Blackbeard? How are we gonna make this dude look cool? I mean, he doesn't look cool when we first meet him.
No,
Like,
they would have, again. That'd have to be another one that they'd have to cast. Like, dude, just get Jack Black to be Blackbeard, dude.
actually, yeah. If they
That
could,
would-
if
that
they could
would
pull him,
honestly-
if they could pull him somehow, that would be awesome.
Be great, actually.
But Jack Black's already a little old, and he's gonna have to live for how many seasons if we're actually doing all that?
That's
I mean,
true.
I'd hope he could do it, but
And it's not, and we're assuming that we're getting a season every year like we used to with
We're not.
shows. This is like at the very least a year or two wait in between,
I think because of the strike right now as well,
Oh, yeah,
it's gonna be
it's
2
gonna
or
be-
3 years
Mhm.
before we get anything.
which is so disappointing. I mean,
Yeah,
Hollywood, get your heads out of your asses.
yeah.
You have
No,
enough money.
no anger about the strike happening. Like
No,
the
the
people
strike-
who are striking are in the right.
Absolutely, it's we're annoyed that it had to happen.
The very last thing we got to talk about, unless you have something else, of course,
Continue.
is Smoker.
Yes, that got me hyped.
Yes, I wanted to really see him in the show, like because I wanted Logtown.
They haven't cast him yet.
I was definitely like, oh, like so excited when he put it out on his face, like yeah.
I guarantee you, they just haven't cast him yet.
I googled it and yeah, I couldn't find any cast for him.
So that's you're playing footsie with me.
I googled it before I made it to that episode. That's how I knew we didn't get to Logtown.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, at first I didn't know we weren't gonna make it to Logtown. I thought they cut Smoker out when I first googled it. I was like, no.
You
Like
can't
I'm
cut
done.
out Smoker.
I'm dropping it if Smoker was cut out.
You
Like,
can't. He's such a big deal at the beginning.
and he's later on, he follows them through all of Alabasta. There's so much happening there. And if we somehow make it to Punk Hazard, huge deal in Punk Hazard.
Dude, and when him and Tashiki switch bodies,
So funny.
that's
so good.
hilarious. And he keeps uncovering her chest.
Yes.
She's like, ah.
Yeah, it was so funny. I mean, it was effed up, but it was funny.
Which means we'll have to. Do you think they're gonna do something to make? I bet you they get the actress who played Kuina
To be
to be
Tashigi.
because at that point she'll probably be old enough, or at least they're gonna an actress that looks like.
I mean, they need to make her look like her somehow. Yeah.
I'm still not convinced that Tashigi isn't Kuina.
Me too. I saw a theory as well. People
I don't know
think
how she would have, what they would have done.
there's a theory that people think Kuina is still alive because not as Kuina,
Or
but
Tashigi.
or not as Tashigi. God, they're so in my head is like almost the same character. Apparently, it's been confirmed that Eva was on the same island that Zoro and Kuina were training on within 1 year of her disappearance.
That Eva, you said?
Eva.
Okay.
And Kuina's wanted to be a man so that she could, that was her whole thing. What if, because they say she fell down some stairs and died. What if Eva actually was somehow convinced, changed her into a dude, and then took her? I don't know. Oda would be the one to do something like that.
Possible. Then why does Tashigi look just like Kuina?
Could be just coincidence. I mean, there are people who look the same. Doppelgangers, they
But They put
exist.
so much emphasis on it over the years.
But not everything has to be something. She could just look like her.
I feel like they wouldn't draw. Oda wouldn't just.
Yeah, Oda's that guy.
Oda wouldn't. He's got an answer to everything. Everything.
Yeah.
Oh, that door that made a mistake. Oh, it was fixed by this guy from Wano.
Yep.
Oh, here he is in Wano somehow, even though he was off Wano before, but he made it back.
Yep.
He's the only other guy to ever do it.
Yeah. Well, no. The guy who fixed the door, he's the brother of the guy on Wano.
Oh, I thought.
The one that Frankie worked for?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're brothers.
Oh, I thought it was the same guy.
No, they're brothers.
So then how does brother get off Wano?
Great question. I don't know.
How'd that other dude get off Wano?
What? Who?
The guy that was on Zoro's island.
Oh yeah, we don't know that either.
How'd that guy get out of Wano?
Good question.
Because he was surely there.
That's everything I've got in my notes that's worth talking about. We are almost at 2 hours.
Wow.
Is there anything else that you really stood out to you?
Oh, I should have taken notes. I knew I should have, but I'm bad at taking notes when I'm first watching something.
I mean, I feel like we've hit a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I would give this a solid 7. You said
A
8.5.
Well, I go back and forth. The more I talk about it and think about it, I'm going 8.
See,
Because
now-
I enjoyed it. Like, if we're saying, like, as a One Piece thing, I'd go lower, like 7. But as just a thing I enjoyed, I'd say 8. I
Okay.
had a lot of fun with
I'll
it.
give it maybe 7.5 on that. Now, have you seen IGN's review of it or
I
read?
haven't.
Dude, it's so, just the blurb. I didn't read the whole review because nobody does. I just read the blurb, and it said that I'm misquoting, but it was like, it does a good job at going off on its own story, but then it detracts and goes back to the source material too much, and instead of sticking to its own thing. And it's like, so you're mad at it for being like the source material?
And also, it isn't. It is, but it isn't.
I think they do a perfect blend.
Yeah, I wouldn't say perfect.
A very good blend.
They do a nice blend, yeah.
Because
They retain the feeling.
If they didn't have that Garp in there,
Yeah.
that whole Garp thing, I think it would be a perfect blend.
If they would have just cut a lot of that out, we could have put Hachi. We could have had time for Don Krieg to go attack. Like,
It felt like they wanted to try too hard to focus on Garp and Kobe for some reason.
well, I was watching something. I liked them because that is a cover story.
I
I
agree.
liked that, but yeah, when we go too far, it was too much.
Yeah, I would have preferred it to, like, maybe the first 2 or 3 episodes, and then we don't see them again until maybe
Yes.
next season.
Yes, that's what I thought they were gonna do originally, but they made it a whole B plot.
Yeah.
I was watching Grand Line Review talk about it, and he said that a comment on one of his videos said that they work in movies and creating shows and things like this, and that they would not be surprised at all if the whole Garp thing was put in there in order to just fill time to use the same locations again. Because everything Garp does is just back at the same locations. The
Save
Straw Hats had
budget.
been there. Yeah, and because that means we can cut down on fights as well, and the fights are very expensive. So it may just be a logistics thing with the budgets and
They
all
could.
of that.
I feel like they could. I feel like that's a cop out, though. I mean, there's other things they could have done. It could have been Smoker, like you said.
Smoker's gonna cost a lot of money, dude. Smoker's
Why?
always smoky.
He'd not. You can make it hazy in the room he's
I
in.
guess so.
And
yeah.
and do you know how inexpensive or not inexpensive? I don't
No.
know the cost, but they
Get a fog
perfected-
machine.
They perfected smoke and water in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. It should have been Smoker. It should have been Garp calling Smoker instead of
That's
Mihawk.
what I thought it was. When he first called somebody, I'm like, he's calling Smoker.
That's what I thought. You're
Yeah.
right. It should have been Garp calling Smoker like towards the end.
Yeah.
Like after he lets him go, but he's still a Marine, so I have to still
Yes.
do my job because I want you to be a good pirate, but I'm still gonna be a Marine. And
Yes.
let this other guy know I'm not gonna make it easy for you.
And they may still do that
It
because
could
Smoker
be.
apparently knows Luffy's coming because with him like putting his cigar out on his face and everything.
I just think that would have made more sense to him. I mean, it makes sense that Garp would be in contact with Mihawk since he's high up in the chain.
for sure, Garp's not a low level
No, he's
guy.
I do like how he mentions that I could be an admiral if I wanted
Yeah.
to be, but then I'd have to play by their rules, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, so I like that was mentioned. There were several little like world mentions that I love. Like again, Jinbei. I loved
Yeah.
hearing about Jinbei. And what would they do with Jinbei if we ever?
Well,
get
I mean,
to
we've
that?
got Fishman.
Yeah, but he's got.
Yeah, I just want to see Jinbei, Chopper, and Brook all in the screen together at once.
And Frankie.
And Frankie, yes. Well, I guess I was forgetting Frankie because he's a normal dude at first, but yeah. And
He's
Frankie time skip.
proportion weird. They'd have to just. You know who should be Frankie?
Oh,
Channing Tatum.
you know what? I don't hate it.
Yeah, right.
But I don't expect them to get any big actors.
No,
like
they're
that.
not going to. But we'll say that someone like Channing Tatum.
Did you like Roger? A lot of people didn't like Gold Roger.
I thought he did all right.
He's sick at that point. I
Yeah,
keep seeing a
I
lot of
think-
people hate on him. He's sick.
I keep wanting to tell Ariel because she didn't say anything about it, but I want to keep telling her. Yeah, you notice how he looks like crap, right?
Just
Well,
they don't know that.
Yeah,
Or
but I'm
Sheeta
like,
wouldn't know that yet.
She's no idea that he's literally like on death's door, essentially.
Yeah, he's like late stage cancer. I mean, I don't know what he has, but
It's just some disease. They don't say.
Yeah, you're right. The late stage cancer is white beard.
Yeah,
I believe that is like
He had, like,
actually
heart
what he
cancer or
has.
something, right?
Yeah, I believe it's
Some-
legitimately
at least a heart condition, because that's what was like.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything?
I liked Fishman Karate.
Yeah, it was cool.
I was like, hey, Fishman, because when he comes up and he does that, I was like, hey, that's some Fishman Karate.
Yeah, it was cool. It was
I
all
like,
in there.
Again, I would have liked to have seen Zoro at the end maybe bust out like a onigiri.
He didn't do any onigiri. All right, did he?
No.
I mean,
Everybody but him didn't tag. Usopp said special attack.
yeah. I liked Usopp's fight with the lip guy. I think it was
the
cool.
spitty guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would because again, I didn't. He messed that dude up. I don't know if you got a good look at that guy. That dude was like missing half his arm.
He was effed.
He was done.
I really quickly. I know I'm on my phone, but I just wanted to check the name of this. Because I don't. It's your recommendation, but I do want to recommend this video to people.
Yeah.
Right before you got here, I watched a video called "Every Easter Egg in One Piece Live Action Explained." And there's a lot more that we're not mentioning. So much is in there. I need to send you this video. It's by Artur the Library of Ohara. So I don't know if it's a famous channel or what, but it just came up
Just
for me.
send it to me and I'll.
Yeah, I'll send it to you, but just so you guys can look it up, as like if you're wanting more One Piece live action stuff and to see more about it, you should watch that video. Because the stuff they say, it kind of blew my mind. Everything they put in there, they are definitely lovers of the source material,
And that's good. I think anything you don't like, and this is what it comes down to with anything you don't like in any movie. Typically, you can blame studio interference.
Yeah,
Like the Mario movie, anything you didn't like in that, you can blame Illumination.
I definitely think the biggest issues were budget and timing constraints.
I think the budget. I think they did well with the budget they had.
I do too. Yeah, timing constraints the biggest problem.
It's the timing and the pacing.
Yeah.
Again, 2 more episodes is all you need.
Yeah,
You don't need to make it a 15 episode arc, or do 20 episodes like they used to do back in the day, which is stupid.
yeah.
You can do a good 10 to 12 episodes, and for this story, you would have done great at just 10.
Netflix needs somebody at Netflix needs to look at the freaking anime and see there's almost 1,100 episodes and realize we got to do a couple more episodes each season if we're actually going to do this.
I mean, if you were to do 10 episodes a season, you could cover quite a bit. Again, all the way up until you get to Alabasta, which would have to be like season 4.
at the pace they're going, it would have to be. No, Alabasta, at the pace they're going, would definitely be season 3.
3? Okay.
Yeah.
Enough. I guess because your next season would go through Drum Island. Okay. But all of the next season would be like the first 2 episodes of them getting to Alabasta, and then 6 episodes of them.
But they're not going to.
They're
I
not.
really think they're going to make Alabasta 3 to 4 episodes.
Yeah, I do, with this pace.
Then what? Skypiea 3 episodes too?
No, Skypiea has to be a whole season as well. After this, every season needs every arc
agree.
needs to be a whole. Once they get to Alabasta, every season needs to be a whole arc. They need to do Alabasta, and then have an episode of Long Ring Long Land in the next season.
Skip it. I'm totally fine with them skipping it.
I'm considering telling Ariel to skip Long Ring Long Land, but I'm also like, no, you gotta sit through it the way the rest of us did.
It's way easier in the manga. It's
That's what I've
way
heard.
shorter. They expanded it a lot in the anime for some reason.
The anime was so boring. You do see Foxy. You
see
poster?
Foxy. So we already saw him, so we can cut it all out. We don't need it in the show. I don't need it. Just go straight to where they meet Aokiji. That's fine.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with him riding his bike on some ice.
Because we meet him on some other random island. It's not even the same island where they fight.
I thought they meet him on Long Ring Long Land. It's at the very end.
Right, but Foxy's already gone.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah. Like, he just comes onto the island.
I think they go to Long Ring Long Land, but Foxy not be there.
Yeah.
And then they're just hanging out.
Aokiji rolls up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Luffy realizes, oh, I'm weak.
Yeah. Yeah. With that, bro, if we have any more to say, we can say it in the future because we're at about 2 hours.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to do like an hour and a half, but there was a lot to talk about.
I had a feeling we'd probably go for a while.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's your recommendation. Do you have anything?
So let's see. What do I recommend? I just finished the series Vikings
Okay.
recently, the history series Vikings.
Sounds piratey.
I guess.
I mean, I don't know.
It's kind of like Game of Thrones. It's got a very Game of Thrones feel,
Okay.
but it's like based in like actual history.
Is it made by the same people who made the Pirates show? What was that pirate? There was a pirate show.
Oh, that was
Black
that was,
Sails.
Yeah, that was made by Stars.
Oh, you're right. That
I
was
haven't
Stars.
finished that show, but what I did watch is really good.
I just always thought of Black Sails and Vikings similarly, but I've never seen them, so it's...
So yeah, Vikings, it starts off, you follow a character who is a real character in history. We don't know a whole lot about him, but his name is Ragnar Lothbrok.
Mm-hmm.
And you follow his journey all the way and then into it's kind of a Dragon Ball-esque story where you start with the dad and then it goes into the sons.
That's pretty cool.
So, but it ends season 6. They have to condense a lot of history, so like the timeline of actual history is way off, but the stories are there. They do a weird thing though, where the first 3 seasons are 10 or 12 episodes, and they do it great, and they're all just like these perfect, like condensed little stories. Seasons 4 through 6, 20 episode seasons. And it makes it kind of a slog to get through. At least season 4. Season 4 was kind of a slog to get through for me. Season 5 and 6, not so much. But yes, and then there is a sequel series on Netflix that has 2 seasons that takes place 100 years later. And that one follows Leif Erikson, Hingadingadurgan.
I know him.
Yeah.
I know his name, at least.
But he was the guy. He's the guy who, I don't know if you watch Vinland Saga.
Nope.
But he's in that as well.
I need to watch Vinland Saga.
But he's credited as the first European to discover North America.
That's what I have heard. Yeah.
So they're following him. Obviously, he wasn't the first person to discover North America. There were already people here, but he was the first person credited as the first person to discover over here from Europe. All
right. Well, we got to wrap it up. I got stuff to do today.
I do too. What time is it?
It's 1:12.
I'm way late for cookout at my grandma's.
All right. Yep. We got to go. Thank you guys for watching and
stay nerdy, everybody.